from the Nationwide News Network. Comprehensive, incisive, tough. This is Nationwide at 5.
Good afternoon, I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Mahiri Stewart.
In Nationwide News at this hour, Jamaica's point-to-point inflation rate falls to the lowest level in nearly 60 years.
Final preparations underway for Dr. Andrew Holness to be sworn in as Prime Minister.
FID agents raided the home of a journalist in relation to money laundering investigation.
The 18-year-old student killed during a home invasion this morning was shot in the face.
300 teachers resigned in the last 3 months of the last academic year.
In news from the rest of the world, St. Kitts and Nevis distances itself from connection to Utah shooting suspect.
U.S. says a framework for TikTok ownership deal agreed with China.
In headline sports, 15 of Jamaica's athletes will be in action tomorrow as the World Athletics Championships continues in Japan.
And later in our broadcast, in the cover story at 5:35, Dr. Andrew Holness is set to be sworn in as Prime Minister for a third consecutive term tomorrow, following which he's expected to announce his new cabinet. We'll hear the cabinet predictions of veteran journalist Pete Sankey and JEF President Wayne Chen.
In public opinion at 6:26, we ask, what's your reaction to Jamaica's 1-2 finish in the men's 100-meter final at the Tokyo World Championships? Give us your comments by logging on to our Facebook page, Nationwide News Network, and by tweeting us at Nationwide Radio, and message us on WhatsApp at 876-285-5693. You can also leave your comments on Instagram at Nationwide 90FM.
In the nation's business at 6:40, the country's point-to-point inflation rate has fallen to its lowest level in nearly 60 years at 1.2% at the end of August. We'll hear from Statin's acting director in the Administrative Statistics Division, Xiomara MacDonald.
At 7, U.S. and Chinese officials say they've reached a framework agreement to switch TikTok to U.S.-controlled ownership. You'll hear more.
All these and more as we take you home on air on your mobile, Nationwide 90 FM, RevaNews.ai, and on the Reva News app, available on the Google Play and the App Store. This Monday afternoon, it's Monday, September 15, 2025.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM.
And now to the details. The country's point-to-point inflation rate has fallen to its lowest level in nearly 60 years. According to data from the Statistical Institute of Jamaica Statin, as of the end of August, Jamaica's point-to-point inflation rate was 1.2%. It's less than half the rate of 3.3% recorded the prior month. This was well below the target range of 4 to 6% mandated by the Bank of Jamaica, the BOJ. The last time Jamaica's point-to-point inflation rate dipped so low was in May 1967. It also represents the third consecutive month that the country's point-to-point inflation rate has been well below the target range. The rate was influenced primarily by movements in the point-to-point inflation rate for the division's restaurants and accommodation services, education and information and communication. Meanwhile, the inflation rate for the month of August was 0.3%. The main contributor to the increase was movements in the index for the food and non-alcoholic beverages division.
Final preparations are now underway for the swearing in of Dr. Andrew Holness as Prime Minister of Jamaica. Dr. Holness will take the oath of office in a ceremony at King's House tomorrow, Tuesday, September 16. It's the fourth time Holness will take the oath as Prime Minister, having done so in 2011, 2016 and 2020. He will be the first leader of the 82-year-old Jamaica Labour Party, JLP, to take the oath on so many occasions. Dr. Holness is the first JLP leader to win a third consecutive term in government. More than 4,000 guests are expected on the lawns of the Governor-General's residence to witness the event. Nationwide News will bring you live coverage of the Prime Minister's inaugural address.
Nationwide news sources have confirmed that the home of a journalist was raided and documents seized in furtherance of a money laundering investigation by the Financial Investigations Division, the FID. Our news center understands FID agents swooped down on an Upper St. Andrew address armed with a search warrant. The FID was authorized to seize documents, books, and other records relevant to banking and investment activities. It's unclear the volume of documents and records taken from the apartment. No charges have been laid against the journalist, and as a result, Nationwide News has taken the decision not to name him at this time.
Murders and shootings continue to decline across the country. That's according to the latest crime data by the Jamaica Constabulary Force, JCF. Up to September 13, murders were down 42%, while shootings are down 34%. The police say since the start of the year, 479 homicides had been committed. That's 350 fewer than was recorded over the corresponding period last year. At that time, 829 murders were recorded. Meanwhile, the JCF data shows that up to September 13, there had been 495 shooting incidents. St. James took the top spot with the highest drop in both major crimes. According to the police, the division recorded 57 fewer murders than the 99 committed within the same period last year. In relation to shootings, St. James had 48 fewer incidents than the 89 recorded last year. The only other major crime to report a decline is rape, which is down 25%. But the JCF says break-ins and robberies are still increasing. Both major crimes rose by 26% and 11% respectively up to September 13.
Now, Nationwide News understands the high school student who was murdered during a home invasion in Smoky Vale, St. Andrew Monday morning was shot in the face. The student has been identified as 18-year-old Jada Pollard of the Queen's School. Reports are that sometime after 1 this morning, a man entered the home where Pollard and her family were asleep. The family reportedly became aware of his presence and raised an alarm. The intruder is said to have opened gunfire, hitting the student in the face. She was rushed to the Kingston Public Hospital where she was pronounced dead. The St. Andrew North Police is urging anyone with information to contact the Constant Spring Criminal Investigation Branch at 876-924-1421 or the Police 119 emergency number.
Meanwhile, the Minister of Education, Dr. Dana Morris-Dixon, has condemned the murder of the Queen's student. In a statement on Monday, the minister described the incident as an unspeakable tragedy. She says the life of a promising young woman was cut short in the most cruel and senseless way. The education minister says her heart goes out to the student's family, friends, classmates, teachers, and the wider school community as they grapple with the devastating loss. Additionally, the ministry says it has dispatched a trauma support team to the Queen's School to provide counseling and psychosocial support to students, teachers, and staff members.
Approximately 300 teachers resigned in the final 3 months of the 2024-2025 academic year. That's according to figures released by the Education Ministry. Despite this, the ministry says fewer teachers are resigning to seek employment overseas. It says 1,185 teachers resigned in the academic year, compared to the previous year where 1,517 teachers resigned. Permanent Secretary in the ministry, Dr. Kassan Troop, says more teachers are returning to the country to lend their skills to the Jamaican classroom.
We are seeing a significant decline in the number of resignations this year, and we are seeing our teachers coming back home. They are writing to us. They are telling us that they are back, and of course when they come back with a wealth of experience. And our leaders who left us, they are writing me back. They want to come into the ministry, and they are telling me about the great ideas that they have and what they want to. So we are seeing our teachers coming back, and I can say a great reduction. I think about 2 years or 3 years ago, we would have seen significant numbers.
Dr. Troop noted that steps have been taken to replace the missing teachers.
We wrote to the Ministry of Finance and they responded already. We shared it with our minister that they have again given us the opportunity to allow our teachers who we have granted leave to work while they are on leave. So again, they have an opportunity to earn twice. So we have 2,000 plus teachers who we have approved leave. Our minister signed off on it. In addition to that, those persons who have proceeded on retirement leave, they have an opportunity approved by the Ministry of Finance again to come back and serve. And those persons who are out there with the expertise, the Ministry of Finance has approved that we can also extend them a contract to them for them to allow us to support our students where there may be gaps. So there are opportunities.
That's Dr. Kassan Troop, the Permanent Secretary in the Education Ministry. She was speaking during the recent release of CSEC results.
Meanwhile, the ministry says over 2,000 teachers who are on leave have made themselves available to work to ease the classroom burden. The ministry added that among the teachers available to assist with replacing those who resigned include over 1,100 eligible retirees, 115 on scholarships, 73 teachers on the Cuban program, 100 pre-trained graduate teachers, 993 new teacher graduates, and over 400 teachers undergoing their final year of study. The ministry says there's also a virtual school solution available in over 100 secondary level institutions to facilitate classes taking place at the same time and vice versa.
Now, residents and commuters along Slipen Road in St. Andrew are calling on the relevant authorities to address the numerous open trenches on its sidewalks. Images seen by Nationwide News show numerous holes on the sidewalks, some deep and littered with garbage. Mahiri Stewart has that story.
The sidewalk is used by residents, commuters, and students who attend the Central Branch Infant and All-Age School. Multiple holes can be seen on the sidewalk. Some were deep, while others had garbage inside of them. Other holes had plants growing out of them. One staff member told our news center the condition of the sidewalk makes it difficult for her to push her wheelchair-bound daughter to school in the mornings.
The drainage, it smells bad and it affects the children. And even most of the time we hear the principal might say it needs to clean up, it needs to clean. And nobody haven't come about it all now. So clean. I even have a disabled daughter and I have to push her on the sidewalk. And it don't good for her because it's rotten and then you see the hole is there. When you push her, you have to be careful because I don't want her to fall in the hole. It's very rotten. The hole out there is very rotten. The high and them rotten out, complete. So say you cannot push her and it cave in with it at any time. It don't good for us.
Another resident expressed concern about the threat the large holes on the sidewalk posed to vulnerable individuals.
Yeah, man, it's very dangerous because you have all old people walk on the side, You have people walk with them children. More time, some people walk on gears and anything can happen. Baby can fall night, even the elder can fall night, broke foot, and it's well dangerous. People fell night, I will call them two over it. Yeah, man. So the best thing to happen is to fix, to avoid a lot of danger.
Another says the issue has existed for years.
It's been there for years. I haven't even noticed that it was getting so bad. It's a lot of them and it's not covered. It's just there, unmonitored. Anyone can drop in. We don't even know if anyone has dropped into the ditch, to be honest with you, because it's just open. It's just right there. Anyone can fall. I almost fall into one of the time, because not everyone is going to be walking to look down. You're expecting the place to be safe so that you can walk. You're not looking for places that you're going to fall into. So it's very unsafe and it needs to be fixed.
Mahiri Stewart for Nationwide News.
Taxi operators in Montpelier, St. James took to the streets Monday morning to protest against what they say are deplorable road conditions. It's understood that operators withdrew their service from the early hours of the morning. President of the St. James Taxi Association, Dion Chance, says he was uncertain whether the protest will stretch into a second day.
In that area, some water mains were laid recently, when these works are done, it takes a while for the surfaces to be put back in any stable condition. And with the rain and all, it has sort of exacerbated the whole situation. Some operators came out this morning to vent their frustration as to what is happening and the condition that the road is in. If it will continue tomorrow, I'm not in a position to say yes or no, but I do know that the persons were upset.
Videos and images circulating online show operators lining the street bearing placards with messages such as "We need better roads now," "We need roads," "This is not JLP or PMP," and "Poor road condition, long time." Mr. Chance says interim work is badly needed on the road.
I've been doing some checks and I'm supposed to get a confirmation as to whether or not that piece of roadway in Montpelier is on the Spark program. I'm not 100% sure, but what I've been reaching out and saying is that even if it's on the Spark program, somebody needs to reach out to get some remedial work done. From the Taxi Association's perspective, myself and the fellow presidents in the area are going to see how best we can reach out and see what assistance we can bring in terms of a voice to lobby on behalf of those members.
That's Dion Chance, president of the St. James Taxi Association. You're listening to the news on Nationwide at 5. We'll have more after these.
It's IQ Optical's sizzling summer sale. For this month only, get 50% off lenses when you purchase a frame. Kids get free lenses with a purchase of a frame. Make the intelligent choice with IQ Optical. Conditions apply. The time by IQ Optical is...
It's 15 minutes after 5.
Rentokil Initial offers air purification solutions with triple filtration and unique auto-sensing capabilities that neutralizes malodor and replaces it with clean air. Call Rentokil Initial at 926-4236 for more details.
The temperature by Rentokil is...
It's 31 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 32 in Montego Bay.
Freedom, speed, agility, intelligence, friendship. These are the hallmarks that define the dolphin, the master of the seas, and are the hallmarks that inspire Sterling Asset Management. For over 20 years, we have provided investment products that give our clients financial freedom, and our service is fast, insightful, warm, and genuine. Sterling Asset Management, intelligent investing for the intelligent investor.
Continuing the news. Nationwide News understands that no decision has been made to introduce toll charges along the Maypen to Williamsfield leg of Highway 2000 next month. On Monday, a report from the Jamaica Observer noted that charges will be coming sometime in October. But Nationwide sources have denied this is so, noting the decision to impose the toll charges rests with the Transport Ministry. Nationwide News understands that the National Road Operating and Constructing Company, NROC, will hand over control of the road to Trans-Jamaican Highway Limited next month. Motorists have been using the Maypen to Williamsfield Highway free of cost since it became accessible to the public on September 14, 2023.
Jamaica is setting its sights on new frontiers in global travel using the launch of Jamaica Product Exchange JAPEX 2025 as its springboard to break into untapped markets and expand the reach of its tourism product. The 3-day expo is set to begin this Sunday in Montego Bay, St. James. It brings together local players in the market with foreign buyers in order to promote and grow Jamaica's tourism product. Siobhan Campbell tells us more.
The Jamaica Hotel and Tourist Association's premier trade event is the Jamaica Product Exchange, JAPEX. It's the single most important business generator for Jamaica's tourism industry. With a history of attracting additional investment and tourism interest to the island, this year is expected to be no different. That's according to Director of Tourism Donovan White.
The strategic importance, obviously, of JAPEX in this regard is to continue to allow us to bring our buyers, we call them, who are our foreign B2B engagement opportunities or businesses that engage with our private sector partners and indeed some of our public sector entities like the JTB to do business in tourism and to ensure that we can build that sustainable path to growth in a long-term way. And that's why we have this event every year, because it is so important to ensure that we can continually bring our business partners to the destination to meet with our suppliers in the destination, who are our private sector owners.
In 2 days of pre-scheduled appointments, wholesalers, tour operators, and travel agents meet with close to 200 of Jamaica's leading tourism suppliers to conduct business negotiations. Since its 1990 inception, the JAPEX has been presented by the Jamaica Hotel and Tourist Association, JHTA, in association with the Jamaica Tourist Board. Mr. White believes significant interest can be drummed up from markets in Latin America and India.
JTB has institutionalized as part of its strategy the development of some emerging markets that we see as important to the sustainable growth of our tourism arrivals. Those include Latin America. There are over 17 countries in Latin America that we actively position Jamaica. Those 17 markets in Latin America contribute something like over 600 million in terms of population. So JAPEX gives us an opportunity to bring some of the biggest, brightest, and most strategic businesses in tourism out of that space to Jamaica.
The Director of Tourism stressed the importance tourism plays in driving the country's economic growth. He says this places additional burden on innovating and safeguarding the product in a shifting market.
From an industry context perspective, we can't say this enough, and so I will continue to repeat it. The role of tourism in our economy today is that it contributes greater than 30% of our GDP, 30% of our workforce, and it is the significant contributor to our foreign direct investment index. And so when you have that kind of balance of the contribution of one sector of our industry, we have to continue to innovate and to create more ways and more channels of opportunity.
Siobhan Campbell for Nationwide News.
World in a Minute is brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC. Hose assembly and supply, equipping Jamaica for success.
And Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology and integrity.
The World in a Minute.
The government of St. Kitts and Nevis is refuting reports that the suspect in last week's fatal shooting of U.S. conservative activist Charlie Kirk had visited the Caribbean country. Kirk was shot and killed at Utah Valley University while speaking at an event attended by some 3,000 people. In coverage of the event, the media reported that the suspect, 22-year-old Tyler Robinson, had a happy family life. They referenced social media posts of the family taking trips to Disneyland, Alaska, along with St. Kitts and Nevis. But in a statement Monday, the administration of Prime Minister Dr. Terence True said official records show no evidence that Robinson or his family had entered St. Kitts and Nevis. It said the authorities remain open to reviewing any credible information to the contrary, as it's keen on accuracy and truth. The statement also said access to shooting ranges in the country is restricted to individuals holding firearm licenses issued under police authorization and supervision.
The United States has reached a framework deal with China on the ownership of TikTok's American operations. According to the U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, the framework was set in trade talks in Madrid to pave the way for U.S. ownership. He says U.S. President Donald Trump and Chinese President Xi Jinping would complete the deal on Friday. Trump said on Truth Social that the talks had gone very well. Meanwhile, China confirmed a framework agreement but said no deal would be made at the expense of Chinese companies' interests. A deadline is looming for the Chinese owner of TikTok, ByteDance, to find a buyer for its American operations or face a ban in the U.S.
World in a Minute was brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC. Hose assembly and supply, equipping Jamaica for success.
And Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology and integrity.
Recapping the top stories making nationwide news at this hour, Jamaica's point-to-point inflation rate falls to its lowest level in nearly 60 years.
Final preparations underway for Dr. Andrew Holness to be sworn in as Prime Minister.
FID agents raided the home of a journalist in relation to a money laundering investigation.
The 18-year-old student killed during a home invasion this morning was shot in the face.
I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Mahiri Stewart.
Listeners, you can find the news on our website at www.revonews.ai and on the Revo News app. It's available on the Google Play and the App Store. News next, the headlines at 6.
Do it for your best life, do it. Go check your HIV status, do it. So keep your life trending, no pretending. Me I tell yourself, do it for you, do it for you. Every time you are link with a condom, coulda husband, coulda wife, coulda be a random. Condom connect and protect your profile. Be your own fan, do it for your best life. Do it for your best life. Do it, don't put yourself at risk. Condom connect every time. Do it for your best life. Do it.
Public opinion. Stop this foolish about this GLP and PMP business. We are Jamaican. Different people.
It's not a matter of a GLP or a PMP. I think it's more like where it is that you think you're comfortable, what support you can afford to make the country better.
Different views.
Most entertainers, they're not amenable to management, so the only thing that can ultimately structure them is the court and the prison.
Public opinion.
the voice of the people, at 6:25 p.m. weekdays during Nationwide at 5. Tune into Nationwide at 6:25 p.m. for Public Opinion, where the people's views matter.
Public Opinion is brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, industrial automation and control solutions.
Sports at 5 is brought to you by Total Tools. Total Tools, every tool, every trade.
Good afternoon with your sports report. I am Alvix Raby.
And I'm Orrin Buchanan.
We start with a track and field as 11 of Jamaica's athletes will be in action on Tuesday as the World Athletics Championships continues in Tokyo, Japan. The pair of Tyrese Taylor and Navaske Anderson will go in the heats of the men's 800 meters. Shanika Ricketts and Akila Smith will be in the women's triple jump qualifiers. Romaine Beckford will participate in the final of the men's high jump. The trio of Orlando Bennett, Tyler Mason and Demario Prince will contest the semifinals of the 110 meters hurdles. And Dejane Oakley, Stacey Ann Williams and Nikisha Price will feature in the semifinals of the women's 400 meters. Nationwide 90 FM will continue to have live coverage of the games.
Jamaica's medal tally at the World Athletics Championships in Tokyo remained unchanged on Monday after Danielle Williams, the defending champion in the women's 100-meter hurdles, finished 7th in the final. The country's medal count stands at 3 with 1 gold and 2 silvers. Williams, who entered the race with high expectations, clocked 12.53 seconds after clipping both the second and 10th hurdle, which disrupted her rhythm and cost her valuable time. Despite the valiant effort, the 33-year-old was unable to replicate her gold medal winning performance from Budapest in 2023. Switzerland's Detaji Kambunji stole the show, with a flawless run setting a new national record of 12.24 seconds to claim gold. The rest of the podium featured a tightly contested finish with Nigeria and United States rounding out the top 3. Williams, visibly disappointed but composed in her post-race interview, acknowledged the costly errors.
Really and truly went for it. Tried to get it from the start. I know I got too close to the second hurdle. So I definitely didn't do what I was supposed to do off the first hurdle. And so that threw the race pattern off. I was out of it, and I think I fought hard to get back into it. Didn't give up, and, disappointed obviously because everybody comes out here to win. But, still giving God the glory. Brought me to another World's Finals. I don't even know how much this is. And so, it's been a wonderful career, a blessed career. I'm very grateful to be here.
Meanwhile, Akira Nugent and Amoy Brown were understandably disappointed that they were not able to advance from the semi-finals. Nugent finished third in semi-final 1 in 12.63, while Brown's 12.93 was only good enough for sixth. Brown shared with Nationwide's Wayne Walker some of the issues that has been limiting her progress.
For the past 2 years, I've been struggling at Tormany in the heat at the trials last year. The year before that, my best time was 12.51, and last year I had a bad season. So this year injury as well. So for the past years, it's been up and down. I don't have a contract or a shoes contract, but I was working towards it, even though I'm disappointed this year. But I don't know what God has in store for me, so I can't complain. But I do not have one at this moment.
Brown says 2009 World 100-meter champion Bridget Foster Hilton has been her biggest supporter for the past 4 years.
I wish I could go more in depth on how that lady has helped me, and she deserves her praises. And I wish I had made the finals where I could put it out there, just a bit more, because people need to know the person who have been sticking with me for years. Because it's frustrating investing your time, your money, your effort. Because as you know, I'm not her child, but she has sucked for the past 4 years. Let me tell you, I've left this sport so many times, not because of wanting to walk away, but other persons who have invested didn't get the results, and you cannot blame them for that because, nothing given, nothing received. You can understand the exchange in that. So it's not a blame game, but for her to stick with me to this point, I wish I could tell you more. I don't have, the support to move into next season. I don't have a contract. I don't have a shoes contract or a sponsor, but I don't know where the door is going to open.
Amoy Brown, Minister of Sports Olivia Grange has since made contact with Brown.
And finally in football, Jamaican football star Khadija Bonnie Shaw has been nominated for the prestigious 2025 CONCACAF Player of the Year award, capping off another stellar season for both the club and country. The Manchester City forward continues to establish herself as one of the top strikers in world football. Shaw's nomination comes after a record-breaking year in English Women's Super League. Shaw made history with Jamaica and Manchester City by becoming the first CONCACAF player to win the PFA Women's Player of the Year award in 2024. The forward was also named Player of the Year in the WSL and FAA awards and nominated for the Best FIFA Women's Player 2024. Shaw finished the season with her club as the WSL Golden Boot winner, scoring 12 goals. Following the nomination process, CONCACAF will continue its football-first philosophy with a voting process that ensures players, coaches, media, and fans determine the winners. I'm Alric Swiebe.
I'm Maureen Buchanan. That's your sports.
Sports at 5 was brought to you by Total Tools. Total Tools, every tool, every trade.
Cubby's Baby Wipes is ideal for your baby's delicate skin, infused with vitamin E and aloe vera, and available for home or on the go. The time by Cubby's Baby Wipes is
5:30.
From Kingston to the world, from Montego Bay to new adventures, and from Ocherias to endless possibilities. Wherever you're headed, we will proudly take you there. Jamaica's Airport, your global gateway. The temperature brought to you by the Airports Authority of Jamaica is
31 degrees Celsius in City Kingston and 32 in Montego Bay.
Commercial spaces for you. Parks and attractions for you. Housing and residential developments for you. Beautiful rental properties for you. Improving quality of life through infrastructure development across Jamaica for you. The Urban Development Corporation, making development happen for you. Brought to you by the Urban Development Corporation.
UDC for you. Delicious meals, poolside cocktails, right on the beach. Disconnect from your daily worries and reconnect with the one you love. There's no paradise like home. This summer, enjoy a romantic all-inclusive escape at Couples Tower Isle, Couples Sanssouci, Couples Negril, or Couples Swept Away from $295 USD per night. Take advantage of this offer today by visiting Couples Resorts at couples.com. Conditions apply.
From a single hopeful seed to your family's growing need. Nothing is out of reach, no matter how small they seem. Access Financial will always support your dreams. 25 years, side by side. 25 years of joy and pride. 25 years is quite a ride at the heart of helping you thrive.
The little man who want alone, the boss lady who want to upgrade on her own, the business idea you want to show. We are committed to helping you grow.
Think about your dreams, to stand up tall. We've been there through it all. 25 years, side by side. 25 years of joy and pride. 25 years is quite a ride at the heart of helping you thrive. 25 years.
Access Financial Services, 25 years strong. Pioneering dreams into reality.
Enough power tool, big to small. Jackama figure dig the wall.
Our Total Tools.
Weed waka figure trim the lawn. We have everything a job demand.
Total Tools.
We rent them, sell them and fix them. Also give Total Tools a call. When I say home improvement, landscape construction, a Total Tools are your option. Home improvement, landscape construction, Total Tools are your option.
Total Tools, located at 102 Main Street, Ocherias, 34 Slipe Road, Kingston.
And lot C6 Jacksaw, Sentence Bay. Call us today.
Now, PrEP makes it so easy. One pill before you link, prevent HIV.
PrEP makes it so easy. One pill before you link, prevent HIV.
You want to do your thing with your queen or your king?
Or I get a little frisky that make you flex frisky.
PrEP, are you extra bucketed?
To help you say HIV negative.
PrEP makes it so easy. One pill before you link, prevent HIV. PrEP tablets available at your clinic from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
If it's in the public's interest, it's the nation's business during Nationwide at 5. The nation's business is...
Track and Field's global showpiece heads back to Asia for its 2025 staging. The World Athletics Championships from Tokyo, Japan is live on Nationwide 90 FM. September 13 to 21.
Great start from Seville, who's got a little bit of a march off Noel. Seville's going to win this. Brilliant race. He even has time to salute.
How will the Jamaicans stack up? The likes of Kishane, Oblique, Nikisha, Tina, Sherika and Lavelle all seeking podium spots.
Really good running on the near side too from Tia Clayton. Tia Clayton takes it there.
And the world will say goodbye to Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce.
Watch for Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce.
She brings the curtain down on her 18-year career. She goes back to where it all started.
And she's going to do it. Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce.
Live every moment from the World Athletics Championship from Tokyo, Japan, September 13 to 21 live with a kind of coverage only Nationwide 90 FM provides.
Due to our live broadcast of the World Athletics Championship in Tokyo, Japan, scheduled to run from September 12 to 20, there will be no airing of Nationwide this morning. The early morning news package will resume following the conclusion of the games. Nationwide apologizes for the inconvenience caused.
Cover Story is brought to you by
Multilink. Roll with control. Use Multilink. Safe, fast, and accepted in more locations.
Multilink. Access every time, everywhere I go. Multilink. 24/7 access for me. It's just a win-win when we use Multilink. This card is Jamaican built, yeah. Fast and secure, you can use anywhere. Spend while supporting the economy.
Look for the Multilink logo on your card and benefit from Jamaica's largest debit payment network.
Multilink, 24/7 access for me.
What would I do without my Multilink?
Good afternoon, listeners and viewers. It is 5:36. Welcome to the Cover Story. I'm Siobhan Campbell. Okay, well, till our co-host joins us, we are going to move on, and we're talking cabinet predictions today. Dr. Andrew Holness is set to be sworn in as Prime Minister for a third consecutive term on Tuesday, following the JLP's victory in the September 3 general election. The JLP won 35 of the 63 parliamentary seats, with the PNP winning the remaining 28. The victory makes Dr. Holness the first JLP leader to achieve the feat. Tuesday's swearing in will be the fourth overall for Dr. Holness. Dr. Holness was sworn in as Prime Minister for the first time in 2011 following the resignation of Bruce Golding. Holness, the then Education Minister, became Jamaica's youngest ever Prime Minister at 39 years of age. He decided to go to the polls in 2012 but failed to receive a mandate from the country's electorate. Dr. Holness was sworn in for the second time to serve his first full term in 2016 after defeating the Portia Simpson Miller-led PNP. He was sworn in for a third time in 2020 after defeating the PNP's Dr. Peter Phillips. And following Tuesday's swearing in, Dr. Holness is expected to announce his new slate of cabinet ministers. To discuss this, political commentator Jermaine Barrett believes Ambassador Audrey Marks and Rhoda Moy Crawford should be considered among the new additions to the cabinet.
Ambassador Audrey Marks, having won and albeit a safe seat, he ought to be considering her for a position possibly within the Ministry of Investment, Industry and Commerce. That would be, I think, an appropriate and fitting appointment for her, given her expertise in business. You're also thinking about Rhoda Moy Crawford. Rhoda Moy Crawford certainly deserves to be appointed within the cabinet, having won Manchester Central the second time around, a PNP bastion. It is now ultimately one of the prized position of the JLP right now. And so one could see Rhoda Moy Crawford possibly as a state minister within the Ministry of Education.
Mr. Barrett also believes that Dr. Holness could face pressure to replace the current Finance Minister, Favour Williams.
There is a concern, I think, with respect to the Ministry of Finance. Favour Williams doesn't inspire confidence, and I think that with the opposition now gunning after her because they have the strength in the Parliament, he's going to be concerned as to whether or not she can really withstand the pressure, and whether or not her stewardship of the ministry is going to be strong enough to sort of give the people of the country confidence. And so I think he's going to be concerned about that. I'm also eyeing Matthew Somoda as being somebody who I think deserves a ministry of his own, possibly the Ministry of Job Creation, Economic Growth and Job Creation, or possibly, I don't know what his acumen is, but possibly finance.
That's Jermaine Barrett, political commentator. Well, joining us now is veteran journalist Pete Sankey and president of the Jamaica Employers Federation, Wayne Chen. Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good afternoon.
So let's start with you, Pete Sankey, and let's start with that critical portfolio finance. As Mr. Barrett suggested there, do you believe Favour could potentially be replaced as the finance minister?
No, I Favour knows her numbers. She's soft-spoken, so maybe people are just thinking that she doesn't understand or doesn't know portfolio as well. She knows her numbers, but what the Prime Minister could do is to strengthen the ministry by naming a minister without portfolio, the finance ministry, and that could be Anthony Hill. That's our hope, my God. Not Anthony Hill. Auburn Hill.
You mean, yes, Auburn Hill.
Auburn Hill, right.
And what say you, Wayne Chen, on that same matter?
I wouldn't want to get into the granular details. I think Favour Williams should stay as Minister of Finance. In fact, I don't think the Prime Minister should change any ministers. What the Prime Minister should be looking at now, and I'll say why. We have, as the media and the public, become too enamored of this idea of new each time there is a change of government. What we have not spent enough time around is policy continuity and allowing ministers who have built up a certain amount of experience and understanding of how their ministries work to allow them to continue to do their work. It's not as glamorous, it's not as buzzy, it's not as headline grabbing, but Jamaica needs that. Jamaica needs a period of boringness and just policy continuity. Of course, I know the new younger politicians who have been in Parliament at least one term and are rearing to go, they might feel a little disappointed. But you also have to think about succession planning.
Yes.
Bringing in some state ministers now, some of the newer faces, some of the faces, the names mentioned earlier, also now come into the ministries as ministers of state to understudy what is there, and so there can be a smooth succession in terms of the handing of the baton, even before the next election. The last thing I want to say is, and I want to speak specifically around Audrey Marks. I think she had a responsibility around public sector reform, around digital transformation. That's one of the things that's going to be critical in the new administration. Successive administrations, going back at least 30 years, have lamented, and numerous prime ministers, everyone since P.J. Patterson's time, have lamented the lack of joined-up government. Government is not operating as efficiently as it ought to, simply because of structural issues. We have solved some of these problems. The public sector salary reform has allowed the public sector to attract better talent, but it has not moved sufficiently quickly to improve its processes. Ministries and agencies are not coordinating their efforts and working with each other. So you have both the internal within the ministries and how they coordinate among each other. That needs a certain focus. And I think the Prime Minister in his last go-round had tasked Audrey Marks with that. I think that function ought to be strengthened as a coordinating function to get the ministries to work better. So my short answer is, don't move any ministers. Bring some new blood in to understudy and work towards relentlessly driving more efficiencies within the public sector.
Well, we're up on the break, gentlemen, and I'd like to bring Pete Sankey back on that topic after regarding the no need for any major reshuffling at this time.
Clear your barrels and personal shipments with ease and convenience. Request a customs contactless clearance today through CCP at jca.gov.jm. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is...
It's 5:44.
Burn Shock fried chicken always ready. Burn Shock, original crispy. Burn Shock, Cajun spices. Bird shock, a barbecue. Bird shock, we are go a bird shock.
The temperature brought to you by Bird Shack Fried Chicken in Kingston, Montego Bay and Ocho Rios is...
It's 31 degrees Celsius here in the capital city, as well as 31 out west in Montego Bay.
We are the best at what we do. At Hose Assembly and Supply Limited, we supply hose fittings and tools. We guarantee we can't be beaten when price and quality are combined. You brand us the Hose and Tool Boss because we deliver the most effective industrial solutions. Come in and experience the joy of shopping with Hose Assembly and Supply Limited. Call us 876-923-3936 or visit 173 Hagley Park Road, 2 Charlesworth Crescent or Montego Bay Trade Center. Hose Assembly and Supply Limited. More than just hoses. Now open every Sunday.
In Jamaica, your rights are protected by our Constitution. From the right to education to freedom of expression, every citizen deserves respect and dignity. But remember, with rights come responsibilities. Let's uplift and respect each other and stand against injustice. Together, we can make Jamaica a better place for ourselves and future generations. Know your rights. Embrace your responsibilities. This message was brought to you by the Ministry of Legal and Constitutional Affairs.
Is your money idling when it could be thriving? With CIBC Caribbean's fixed deposit offering, you can take charge of your cash. With 50,000 Jamaican to start, choose terms from 30 days to 2 years. Lock in your funds and enjoy premium rates guaranteed to grow your wealth. Whether you're eyeing short or long-term gains, our fixed deposit accounts puts you firmly in control of your money. Now is the time to open a CIBC fixed deposit account and start earning more today. CIBC, ambitions made real.
Welcome back, listeners and viewers, to the cover story. We're talking cabinet picks. Prime Minister Andrew Holness to be sworn in for his third full term tomorrow about 4 o'clock, and we would expect that sometime later in the week or sometime later he will name his cabinet. And we have with us veteran journalist Pete Sankey, as well as president of the Jamaica Employers Federation, Wayne Chen. So Pete Sankey, Wayne Chen says no need for any major reshuffles. Continuity is the watchword. Maybe some people to shadow the senior people currently there. What say you? Do you think that's the way forward? That we should just have continuity government and not expect any major changes at the helm?
Yeah, I too would not suggest or expect any major change. Industry and Commerce, I would appoint Audrey Marks to the ministry. Works, I would bring back Andrew Wheatley to the cabinet and name Juliet Holness as a state minister. Tourism, I think Dylan and Steve Wright should be ready by now to cover that ministry. People will say, why remove Ed Bartlett? Bartlett has been in politics from October 1980, and I think it might be time for him now to give a young girl a chance. He could, I think Bartlett understands the parliamentary rules and so he could be selected as a speaker with the Everett Warmington as the House leader.
That pick of Everett Warmington, would that one be a bit controversial, so to speak, considering Mr. Warmington's posture? I know he's one who has a very deep understanding of the parliamentary procedures, but he's had quite a few run-ins, so to speak, in terms of his posturing.
Yes, but I don't think there's anybody, any of the new MPs or MPs elect. If there's anyone who understands the parliamentary rules like Warmington. Warmington went to Parliament in 1980. I think he was age 29 at the time. He understands the party, he understands the rules of Parliament, and I would expect him as House Leader to be fair. Expect him to be fair.
And what about the slate of ministries, Pete Sankey? Do you think there are any portfolios themselves that might need either an adjustment or just an abolishment, so to speak, based on their performance over the last 2 terms?
All right. I would keep Robert Morgan in the office of the Prime Minister, and Prime Minister could take on, well, he has housing already, or in the last administration. But I would have digital transformation to the office of the Prime Minister, with Robert Morgan being a minister without portfolio. In terms of education, I would have education, youth, and the information keep Dana Morris Dixon with Abka Fitz-Henley and Corinthia Morrison as state ministers. Security Orishon should go back. I mean, it has done well.
Wait, before you go forward, do you think information should stay attached to education and youth?
Well, yes, I think it should. If not, it's going to go back to the office of the Prime Minister. That's been the tradition. That's why I'm suggesting that Abka Fitz-Henley, who understands the portfolio of information, could be sent to that ministry as a center and state minister.
And what say you, Wayne Chen? I mean, let's name some of those more interesting ministries, so to speak. In the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, do you think it has served its purpose and should remain as is?
It needs a certain focus, but here's the dilemma. The government has produced some terrific numbers. I mean, we just heard on this news report that inflation is at a 60-year low. We know unemployment is at record low. Poverty reduction is at a record low. All the numbers are looking good, except one, and that is
growth.
Economic growth.
Yes.
Economic growth is not generated by a ministry. Economic growth has several components linked to infrastructure, linked to productivity, and so on and so forth. Hence my earlier comment about somebody now bringing up peak performance out of all the component bits that are comprising government. Mr. Sankey, veteran journalist, I don't want to start describing me as veteran commentator too quickly, but no. But
okay.
There are some good workers among the ministers. I mean, I think you mentioned Matthew Samuda earlier. It may well be the time to expand his portfolio. I mean, I believe Dalbaz has announced that it will be his last rodeo. He is in charge of a super ministry. That is transportation. That used to be two ministries in one. I think, not naming someone, but an understudy needs to go there. There's just too much happening for that minister to walk away without a succession plan in place. And as I say, look across the hard-working newbies. And when I say newbies, people who are now 5 years in, 6 years in, but not with bigger slate of responsibility, and bring them in. As I said, Jamaica has suffered from policy discontinuity. We need some continuity now with experienced hands, handing over in a very measured way to new energy and new talent.
Pete Sankey, sorry there, continue. I continue there, Wayne Chen. Sorry about that.
So, as I say, it doesn't make for the same kind of headlines. It doesn't create that that excitement. But the country needs that kind of breather. And I'm talking about, I am someone who has been following this for over 50 years. And this is the most continuity we have had for a while. In terms, too, of policy continuity, bearing in mind that many of these policies are now 10 and 12 years old, and we are seeing the fruits of that success. It's now to pivot towards strong and sustained and inclusive economic growth, and that's the hard part. That is going to be more difficult. It is going to be difficult. We mentioned the Ministry of Finance earlier. Some difficult negotiations are going to have to take place over the next coming months.
Yes.
As the public sector has expectations now of benefiting from these good numbers that they have produced. We have to talk now about the digital transformation of the public sector, which will mean some displacement, some upskilling, some discomfort for people who have operated with a pen and paper all their lives and now suddenly some young whiz is going to tell them, no, that is not the way to do it. We have some serious issues to talk about. We have to talk about now, how do we coordinate between important ministries that are looking about the health and safety of our people. And I talk about how can the Ministry of Education, just give an example, work more closely with the Ministry of Health to make sure that our young people are growing up in environments, in households, in communities that are enhancing their wellness and not just putting more diagnostic equipment in hospitals after the fact, but know how to pivot towards a healthier society all around, one that is more orderly, safer, and healthier generally. How do we deal with the demographic challenges? Because we have an aging society. Who is going to look after all the old people? Where is the social protection? So we have some huge tasks ahead. And I don't think it is going to be personality driven. We know some of the ministers have a public reputation for hard work. Some of them not so publicly, but they are still doing the work. But as I say, I am urging the PM, and it is his discretion, of course, to think about continuity and building on what we have done, because the pivot to strong, sustained, and inclusive economic growth is the next part of the journey forward.
Well said. Pete Sankey, I think you wanted to come in terms of the ministry and portfolios themselves.
You mentioned Matthew Samuda. Matthew Samuda has proved himself. He's one for the future. And I think Matthew Samuda should not be given his full ministry. And I will put him at water and the environment. Daryl Vaz should remain as energy, science, and transport. And he has said publicly that he has some unfinished business regarding the JPSCO license and the rural school bus system.
And I actually want to ask you, Pete Sankey, one of the newest ministries, if not the newest, I believe, the Ministry of Legal Affairs, Constitutional and Legal Affairs. With this matter of the constitutional reform kind of at loggerheads, do you see a reason for that ministry to continue as is?
I haven't looked at it, Trevor. I believe there should be a change, but I can't put a name to that ministry right now.
You can't see anybody beyond Malahoo heading that?
No, I can't see beyond that right now.
How about you, Wayne Shen, the Ministry of Legal and Constitutional Affairs? You see that sticking around, or do you see that just naturally falling back into justice?
It may well fall back into justice because the current Minister of Justice is a bit older than me. And the Minister of Constitutional Affairs is a bit younger than me. So I think they coming together and pooling up talent wouldn't be something that would do any harm. Justice needs a particular focus. We have made some strides, but there's still a lot of work to be done in terms of modernizing processes. But it comes back again to the whole issue of public sector reform and bringing modern processes to bear. A part of it, too, as I say, is we don't want government to be too fragmented. As I said, joined up government is a critical buzzword, but also critical actions going forward. So I think it would aid the process to bring them back together.
And just to finally to both of you first, Pete Sankey, we've already highlighted Matthew Samuda as a potential youngster who is rising up and up. Is there anybody else in terms of the new slate of MPs you believe should be given a portfolio or a state minister position in order to show what they are capable of?
Well, not really new, but she's on a second term. I already mentioned Rhoda Moy Coraford. I would put her in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. I think she has that portfolio. She has that type of... she could be a state minister. She has that profile, I should say, not a portfolio. Julia Cuthbert-Finn, I would put to work. Work with Horace Chang in the
National Security.
Right, and I would Alanda Terrelon. I would reassign him to work with Bob the Grange in culture, sports, and entertainment. Outside of that, I'm not seeing any other. No, I did mention APCO and Carencia in the Ministry of Youth, Education, and Information.
And you, Wayne Chen, and let's focus on Carencia and ABCA. This matter of the Ministry of Information, do you see it well served attached to the portfolio of education, or do you believe, as with many countries, that it should be a standalone ministry, considering what I believe to be its importance in terms of governmental communication?
I think it could stand alone because I think we underestimate the value and power of communication. And this is not just about post-cabinet press conferences. This is about stakeholder engagement, and I don't want to sound too theoretical here. We have to have ways to mobilize the population around some national programs. And this is where communication is the heart of everything you do. Because policies have a much greater chance of success when you have genuine stakeholder engagement right from the early. And this is where communication comes in, and this is where you need that sort of focus. So I would certainly advocate for it, not just being a sort of afterthought at education or elsewhere, but something much more central in the business of government and governance.
Well, Wayne Chen, President of the Jamaica Employers Federation, and veteran journalist Pete Sankey, as we've all said, it's the Prime Minister's ultimate decision as to where he feels the country should head next, so we wait and see. Thank you both for joining us this evening.
Thanks, David.
Thanks for the opportunity.
The headlines are next, listeners.
Cover Story was brought to you by
Multilink. Roll with control. Use Multilink. Safe, fast, and accepted in more locations.
The time brought to you by Guardian Life. Live secure, live easy is a minute after 6.
Nationwide headlines at 6.
Good evening with the headlines at 6. I'm Nora Gay Banton. The country's point-to-point inflation rate has fallen to its lowest level in nearly 60 years. According to data from the Statistical Institute of Jamaica Statin, as of the end of August, Jamaica's point-to-point inflation rate was 1.2%. It's less than half the rate of 3.3% recorded the month prior. This was well below the target range of 4 to 6% mandated by the Bank of Jamaica, BOJ. The last time Jamaica's point-to-point inflation rate dipped so low was in May 1967. It also represents the third consecutive month that the country's point-to-point inflation rate has been well below the target range. The rate was influenced primarily by movements in the point-to-point inflation rate for the divisions, restaurants and accommodation services, education, and information and communication. Final preparations are now underway for the swearing in of Dr. Andrew Holness as Prime Minister of Jamaica. Dr. Holness will take the oath of office in a ceremony at King's House tomorrow, Tuesday, September 16. It's the fourth time Holness will take the oath as Prime Minister, having done so in 2011, 2016 and 2020. He will be the first leader of the 82-year-old Jamaica Labour Party to take the oath on so many occasions. Dr. Holness is the first JLP leader to win a third consecutive term in government. More than 4,000 guests are expected on the lawns of the Governor General's residence to witness the event. Nationwide News will bring you live coverage of the Prime Minister's inaugural address. Nationwide News sources have confirmed that the home of a journalist was raided and documents seized in furtherance of a money laundering investigation by the Financial Investigations Division, FID. Our news center understands FID agents swooped down on an Upper St. Andrew address armed with a search warrant. The FID was authorized to seize documents, books and other records relevant to banking and investment activities. It's unclear the volume of documents and records taken from the apartment. No charges have been laid against the journalist, and as a result, Nationwide News has taken the decision not to name him at this time. And murders and shootings continue to decline across the country. That's according to the latest crime data by the Jamaica Constabulary Force, JCF. Up to September 13, murders were down 42%, while shootings are down 34%. The police say since the start of the year, 479 homicides had been committed. That's 350 fewer murders than was recorded over the corresponding period last year. At that time, 829 murders were recorded. Meanwhile, the JCF data show that up to September 13, there had been 495 shooting incidents. St. James took the top spot with the highest drop in both major crimes. According to the police, the division recorded 57 fewer murders than the 99 committed within the same period last year. In relation to shootings, St. James had 48 fewer incidents than the 89 recorded last year. Those were the headlines at 6. I'm Norige Banton. Sports is next.
Looking for superior quality transportation from an international award-winning provider? Well, look no further. Choose Island Car Rentals, Jamaica's leading car rental company, setting the standard for ground transportation in Jamaica. For over 50 years, Island Car Rentals has been your trusted partner for reliable, top-quality vehicles. But we're more than just a car rental company. Need an airport transfer at any hour? Heading out of town and want to travel in style with a private chauffeur? Need a truck to rent for business or personal use? Or maybe you need a customized shuttle or tour for a large or a small group? Whatever your transportation need, Island Car Rentals has you covered. Call us today at 876-926-8012 or 876-929-5875 or visit www.islandcarrentals.com to book your next trip. Because Island people take better care of you. For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies including plugs, switches, panel boards and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hatley Park Plaza, Kingston 10, or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales for a better choice in the electrical business.
Freedom, speed, agility, intelligence, friendship. These are the hallmarks that define the dolphin, the master of the seas, and are the hallmarks that inspire Sterling Asset Management. For over 20 years, we have provided investment products that give our clients financial freedom, and our service is fast, insightful, warm, and genuine. Sterling Asset Management, intelligent investing for the intelligent investor.
Good evening with your sports report. I am Alric Swaby.
And I'm Maureen Buchanan.
We start with a track and field as 11 of Jamaica's athletes will be in action on Tuesday as the World Athletics Championships continues in Tokyo, Japan. The pair of Tyrese Taylor and Nawaski Anderson will go in the heats of the men's 800 meters. Shanika Ricketts and Akila Smith will be in the women's triple jump qualifiers. Robin Beckford will participate in the final of the men's high jump. The trio of Orlando Bennett, Tyler Mason and Demaria Prince will contest the semifinals of the 110 meters hurdles. And Dejanae Oakley, Stacey Ann Williams and Nikisha Price will feature in the semifinals of the women's 400 meters. Nationwide 90 FM will continue live coverage of the championships.
Jamaica's medal tally at the World Athletics Championships in Tokyo remained unchanged on Monday after Danielle Williams, the defending champion in the women's 100-meter hurdles, finished 7th in the final. The country's medal count stands at 3 with 1 gold and 2 silvers. Williams, who entered the race with high expectations, clocked 12.53 seconds after clipping both the 2nd and 10th hurdles, which disrupted her rhythm and cost her valuable time. Despite a valiant effort, the 33-year-old was unable to replicate her gold medal winning performance from Budapest in 2023. Switzerland's Detaji Kambunji stole the show with a flawless run, setting a new national record of 12.24 seconds to claim gold. The rest of the podium featured a tightly contested finish, with Nigeria and the United States rounding out the top 3. Williams, visibly disappointed but composed in her post-race interview, acknowledged the costly errors.
Really and truly went for it. Tried to get it from the start. I think
I don't think I know I got too close to the second hurdle. So I definitely didn't do what I was supposed to do off the first hurdle. And so that threw the race pattern off. I was out of it. And I think I fought hard to get back into it. Didn't give up and, disappointed obviously because everybody comes out here to win. But, still giving God the glory. Brought me to another World's Finals. I don't even know how much this is. And so, it's been a wonderful career, blessed career. I'm very grateful to be here.
Danielle Williams. Meanwhile, Akira Nugent and Amoy Brown were understandably disappointed that they were not able to advance from the semi-finals. Nugent finished third in semi-final 1 in 12.63, while Brown's 12.93 was only good for sixth. Brown shared with Nationwide's Wayne Walkoff some of the issues that has been limiting her progress.
For the past 2 years, I've been struggling at Tormany in the heat at the Charles last year. The year before that, my best time was 12.51. And last year, I had a bad season. So this year, injury as well. So for the past years, it's been up and down. I don't have a contract or a shoes contract, but I was working towards it, even though I'm disappointed this year. But I don't know what God has in store for me. So I can't complain, but I do not have one at this moment.
Brown says 2009 World 100 meter champions Bridget Foster Hilton has been her biggest supporter for the past 4 years.
I wish I could go more in depth on how that lady has helped me, and she deserves her praises. And I wish I had made the finals where I could put it out there, just a bit more, because people need to know the person who have been sticking with me for years. Because it's frustrating investing your time, your money, your effort. Because as you know, I'm not her child, but she has for the past 4 years. Let me tell you, I've left this sport so many times, not because of wanting to walk away, but other persons who have invested didn't get the results, and you cannot blame them for that because nothing given, nothing received. You can understand the exchange in that. So it's not a blame game, but for her to stick with me to this point, I wish I could tell you more. I don't have the support to move into next season. I don't have a contract, I don't have a shoes contract or a sponsor, but I don't know where the door is going to open.
Amoy Brown. Minister of Sports Olivia Grange has since made contact with Brown.
Now, National 400 meters hurdles champion Sean Clark and fellow Jamaican Malik James King have advanced to the semi-finals at the World Athletics Championships in Tokyo, delivering strong performances in their respective heats on Monday. James King produced a season's best 48.27 seconds, finishing fourth in a highly competitive heat. His time was good enough to secure one of the automatic qualification spots for the next round. Meanwhile, Clark had to rely on time qualification after clocking 48.83 seconds to finish fifth in Heat 4. The reigning national champion showed a grit and composure, holding off a late challenge to secure his place among the semi-finalists.
The first round is normally a round to get you ready for the next round. I run a very pretty decent 300, as you see. I came off the 8th hurdle in the pack. In the home straight, it's top 4, right? So I come off the 10th hurdle. I look. I didn't see the guy when I looked to my right. I was in 3rd when I looked to my left, right? So I'm trying to go through the line as comfortable as possible. But then I trying to keep going, and I see this guy dive past me. Like, I messed up just now.
However, it was disappointment for Asini Wilson, who struggled to find his rhythm and placed 8th in his heat with a time of 49.91 seconds. Wilson later revealed he has been battling an illness which affected his performance.
It's not really a tight race, but at one point when I reached to the 200, I tried to move, but there's no response. So that's why I couldn't go any further. The season was going so great for me, but it reached a point where I started to feel an effect of sickness. So I was in Europe, then I went home bleeding. So when I come back, I get a scan done, and then the result is that I have to get a surgery done. It's a stuff like polyps, some stuff like that causing shorter breaths, a lot more. Yeah, it's 5 problems, but I don't remember the rest.
Wilson says of the $2 million cost for surgery is prohibitive.
They told me that I could go, but I had to take medication. As soon as I went back home, if I got the help. When I went to the private doctor, he said that it will cost over $2 million. Or if I went to the hospital and get it done, I'll pay less.
Asini Wilson, the Ministry of Sports, have since made efforts to contact the athlete.
Tashay Gale and Nikolai Williams both soared into the final of the men's long jump with strong performances in the qualification phase. However, it was disappointment for Kerry McLeod, who failed to make the cut. Williams was the first to make the mark, delivering an impressive leap of 8.15 meters in Group A. His effort not only secured automatic qualification but also stood at the second best jump in the group. In Group B, 2019 World Champion Tajay Gale reminded everyone of his class. With a best effort of 8.28 meters, Tajay Gale topped his group and stumped his authority heading into the final. The performance was a clear statement that the Jamaican is back into top form and ready to challenge for another global title.
Now to cricket, as the West Indies senior men's team will embark on a high-profile overseas tours to complete a busy year of international cricket for 2025, following a bumper home series against Australia and Pakistan. A historic 3-match T20 bilateral series against Nepal in Sharjah will kick off the 22 international matches scheduled for the rest of the year across all formats. The men in maroon will commence their second fixture of the 2025 to 2027 ICC World Test Championship cycle, taking on India in Ahmedabad October 2 to 6 and Delhi October 10 to 14, the team's first tour to India since 2018. A white ball tour against Bangladesh follows shortly after, featuring 3 one-day internationals and 3 T20 internationals from October 18 to November 1. The regional team closed out the year with an all-format tour of New Zealand from November 5 to December 22, comprising 5 T20 internationals, 3 one-day internationals and 3 test matches.
Jamaican football star Khadija Bunny Shaw has been nominated for the prestigious 2025 CONCACAF Player of the Year award, capping off another stellar season for both club and country. The Manchester City forward continues to establish herself as one of the best strikers in world football. Shaw's nomination comes after a record-breaking year in English Women's Super League. Shaw made history with the Jamaican Manchester City WFC by becoming the first CONCACAF player to win the PFA Women's Player of the Year award in 2024. The forward was also named Player of the Year in the WSL and FWA awards and nominated for the Best FIFA Women's Player in 2024. Shaw finished the season with her club as the WSL Golden League winner, scoring 12 goals. Following the nomination process, CONCACAF will continue its football-first philosophy with a voting process that ensures players, coaches, media and fans determine the winners.
And finally, at sports time, Dunbeholding were leading Mullines United 1-0 in the first match of a doubleheader in the Ray Neville Jamaica Premier League at the New Zealand Field. Nicholas Stelson was the goal scorer for Dunbeholding. Meanwhile, in the feature match, home team Waterhouse entertained Harbourview. I'm Alex Raby.
And I'm Maureen Buchanan. That's your sports.
For all your scales and food processing equipment, call Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited at 876-968-9612-5. The time by Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited is
6:17.
Want to save money and still protect your engine? Get Chevron Supreme Sin Blend Motor Oil, the blue bottle with a silver stripe. Now upgraded to synthetic blend, so your engine runs cleaner, longer, and stronger. Now available island-wide at service stations and leading auto parts stores. Ask for Chevron Motor Oil, your favorite blue bottle with a silver stripe. That's Chevron Sin Blend, your engine, good friend.
Residents of Jacks River St. Mary, do you want to apply for a title but need to get your land surveyed? The National Land Agency and the VM Foundation are inviting you to a community meeting on Wednesday, September 16, 2025 at Faith Ministries Church, Jacks River St. Mary from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Come and learn how you can have your land surveyed and apply for a title for your property. For more details, call 876-750-5263. The National Land Agency, one goal.
Jamaica's largest tile selection just got even bigger. Discover what's new at Active Home Center. With our latest arrivals, it's easier than ever to make your space truly unique. Explore ocean blues, botanical greens, and soft sandy neutrals that bring a calm, effortless vibe. From bold patterns to sleek, large format tiles in glossy or matte finishes, every room makes a statement. Shop now at Active Kingston and Montego Bay. Active Home Center. More savings, more choices.
Why free? Every community, the citizen security plan, yeah, it need all a week. Yo, make your vote. Everybody want to see if a country right now. Why free? Every community, the citizen security plan, yeah, it need all a week. Yo, Make your vote. Every Jamaican proud, so turn it up. Stand up. That one a name CSP. One up. Marcus education and the key. Stand up. Crime prevention better than cure. Lock the gun there. Open more door. The youth them at the future check them heads as well. Professional help protect the mental health. Squaddy everybody a link and give a strength. Everybody all a government unity strength. Every community, the citizen security plan, yeah, it need all a we. Yo, make your vote. Everybody want to see if a country right now.
The Citizen Security Plan is an initiative of the Ministry of National Security in partnership with the European Union. It's an all-of-government effort to create safer streets and build stronger communities. Go to mns.gov.jm to learn how you can play your part.
Public Opinion is brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to Public Opinion here on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Mahiri Stewart. Thank you all to the YouTubers and the listeners for tuning in as always, and we're going to need you guys today to focus on today's public opinion. So let's get straight into it. Oblique Seville stormed to a stunning victory in the men's 100-meter final at the World Athletics Championships in Tokyo on Sunday, clocked a blistering personal best of 9.77 seconds to lead home a commanding 1-2 finish for Jamaica. Finishing just behind Seville was teammate Kishane Thompson, who clocked a 9.82 to take silver, continuing Jamaica's rich tradition of sprint dominance. Rounding out the podium was the defending champion, Noah Lyles of the United States, who claimed bronze in 9.89 seconds. Now, Seville, who had long carried the weight of expectations without a global medal to his name, finally delivered on the sport's biggest stage. The 24-year-old says sprint legend Usain Bolt predicted he would take over men's sprinting. His win marked a resounding statement not just to the world, but to those who doubted his ability to perform under pressure. Despite his impressive time, Thompson also expressed disappointment with his performance. Now, this result marks Jamaica's first gold in the men's 100 meters final since Usain Bolt's victory in 2015 at the World Championships, and signals a powerful resurgence for the Caribbean sprint powerhouse. With both Seville and Thompson still in their early 20s, the future of Jamaican sprinting looks bright, and that's why we are asking you today for your reaction to the amazing final that saw Oblique Seville take gold, Kishane Thompson take silver in an amazing 1-2 finish for the country. So let's take a look at what we have here. So let's go over to Nationwide 90 FM on Instagram and see what we got. Got a couple here. We got Masika Sina says, yup, we still got it no matter what the haters say. One Empress 658 said I'm dead. So that's what we got over on Instagram. Let's take a look over on X. Very interesting final. Very, very interesting. What was it? Tebogo it was that didn't he false started. I think he was somebody that I was expecting to, see up there as well, but it didn't work out for him, unfortunately. But still a great final nonetheless. And there was a lot of narratives going on about Oblique Seville in the lead up to this final, and people were wondering if his head was still in the game and all of that stuff. But he proved it, man. I mean, Andre Lawrence here on X, he says, Jamaica has shown once again why we're the sprint capital of the world. A 1-2 finish on the biggest stage isn't about luck, it's about culture, discipline, and raw talent. History keeps putting us at the front, and we're not slowing down anytime soon. Listen Keenly says, very satisfying, happy for the 1-2, hoping for bronze for Tebogo, but it wasn't meant to be. The men's 100-meter title is with Jamaica where it belongs, and Afghanistan Rasta says, Jamaica is always happening. That's correct. Let's go over to Facebook, and then we go over to the YouTubers to see what they think about what was a pretty amazing final. So there you have it, folks. Since 2015, and the funny thing is, Bugs, it doesn't feel like it's been that long. Does it really feel like it's been that long since we've won gold in the men's 100 meter? 2015 is a long time ago, that's 10 years. Over 10 years, actually. We go on X, it says Natalie Winter. She says, great going for the Jamaicans, you're all winners. Love that one, man. But what say the YouTubers? What say the YouTubers? What is your response? What's your reaction to the 1-2 finish in the 100 meter finals? I tell you what, man, Noah Lyles, a lot of people don't like Noah Lyles because they think he's a bit too hype. think him chat too much, and I get that, to be honest with you. But I do think he's still important for the sport. I know a lot of people down here don't like him that much, but in terms of his ability to make you want to watch, Noah Lyles is the type of guy that will make people hate watch him. And for those of you who don't know what hate watching is, it's when you purposefully watch something to see somebody fail, you know? And I feel like for people that hate watched the 100-meter finals, hoping that we would get some kind of revenge for the Olympic Games where Noah barely beat Kishane in that very, very exciting race. I think this was the comeuppance that Jamaicans were hoping for, and we didn't just get it from one sprinter, we got it from two because Lyles got a bronze. But I do enjoy Noah Lyles' antics. I know some people don't like it, but I think it's pretty good, and I think it gets eyes on the sport. But we got a couple responses here in YouTube about Pub Up. And we got Stephen Smith who says, it was awesome to see Seville and Kishane silence Lyles. Edgar Gordon says, Thompson too stiff at the M. He needs to learn to run on. If he was running at the end, he would have won. Congrats to Oblique and Kishane. You delivered. You delivered for Jamaica. That's what Roxanne Wellington is saying. What else we got here? The 1-2 is history repeating itself. Congrats to all the athletes, whether medals or not. Not bad at all, man. Carleen Smith says, I love it. Errol Murray says, great. Next time we have a 1-2-3. But if we do have a 1-2-3, Errol, who's the third person gonna be? And that's the question. Who's the third person gonna be? Nitrogen says, I knew Oblique would win. Kishane is a real sportsman, looking out for Oblique and being happy for him. Love that. Respect to Noah, he lost with class. He didn't make excuses. Love that. Yeah, and honestly, again, man, can't hate Lyles, man. People might find him annoying, but I think he's the good kind of annoying. I think there are a lot of more shady people in the world of track and field than Noah Lyles. You know, what you see is what you get when it comes to him. But he's been quite the rival, and I think he's been a rival that's probably rallied more support within the Jamaican people, more than you'd already expect from Jamaicans, because people are really, really watching now, man, because they want to see Jamaica beat America, especially when it comes to beating Noah Lyles. And I guess we could also talk about the women's 100-meter final, which was pretty good in and of itself. Tina Clayton getting a wonderful P2 finish, her silver medal in her first world championship. And we had Sherika Jackson fourth, and we had Shelly-Ann Fraser P6 in what was her final 100-meter race in her career, at least at the World Championships. Well, actually, probably in her career period. After that's the 4x1, and then Shelly-Ann is done running. And it's funny because when I was looking at Shelly-Ann's career, it's crazy to me that she won Beijing 2008. I was 7 back then, and I'm 24 now, and I'm only now seeing the end of Shelly-Ann's career. And I think that's pretty crazy. It just goes to show her longevity and how great she's been over such a long period of time. She's even on the TV screen right now. Funny, you know. What are the odds? Arlene Duncan says, Noah brings excitement to the game. That's Noah's personality. Congrats to Tina Clayton, says Gravish, but Shelly is still my champion. Carlton Rose says, Noah is a sportsman that brings out the best in us. All the male runners in America are like that. Kishane needs to know that he's great. He should have run 120 meters instead of 99 meters. What's this? Noah's star days are slowly coming to an end. I don't think he will win the 200 meters either, says St. Elizabeth family. You never know, man. You really never know. But I don't think he won the Olympic. He didn't win the Olympic gold for 200 meters. That was Tebogo, I believe. Noah, I think he had what? What do you have? COVID? I think he said he had COVID that day. He came in with a mask and all of that stuff. I think he said he was ill. And that was the same Olympic Games where he won the 100, but he didn't win the 200. So it's up to Noah to see if he can get the 200 right there. But let's see what we got here. I think Kishane should start running the 200 meters. Then he will run through the line at the end of the 100. So it seems as though a lot of people are saying like Kishane's not running the full race. He kind of getting gassed at the end. And maybe. But yeah. It's still, he's still got tons of time to learn. He's younger than me, or I think we're the same age actually. We don't look it because he's a big guy, you know what I'm saying? But Kishane Thompson, another silver medal, his first silver medal in his first Olympic Games. last year, not too far from now. And now his first ever World Championships, he gets another silver medal. And I think at his age, that's very impressive, man. I think Jamaicans are a bit too focused on the gold that we don't see medals as achievements that aren't gold. And that's a problem to me, man. That's a problem to me, man. That's like every medal is an achievement. It's not always going to be gold. You know what I'm saying? It's not always going to be gold, Gravish. He needs his gold medal now. I agree. Yeah, we seen two silver medals, two major silver medals from Kishane Thompson. People are waiting for the gold. And we should give him time because I think he's definitely capable of getting that gold. He was capable in the Olympics. He was capable at the World Championships. And why not? He'll definitely be capable in the future. Gary said, we spoil, are we? I think that's a fair point. I think if you look at Jamaican sprinters and in terms of, especially since since 2000, we probably have been spoiled with the Usains, the Shelleys, the Elaines. That you look at the Olympics last year when we didn't win a gold except for Roger Stone. People were like, oh my gosh, we're washed. We're not good anymore. And that's not the case, man. You have to give people time to develop. Yeah? We seen the silvers at the Olympic Games. We even seen a silver today. Well, not today, but this weekend with Tina. Yeah? It's a silver now. It's gonna be a gold one day, man. It can be a gold one day. Yeah? Melissa Jefferson Wooden is a beast. She did a 10.61. I was like, bro, that's a quick time. 10.61, you know. Championship record. Very, very, very insane. And I guess she's the new gold standard for track and field. I don't think we're gonna be getting any women's 100 meter golds unless we can beat Melissa, because as good as Sha'Carri is, I guess it's obvious that she's pretty inconsistent. She has times when she shows up and she has times where she doesn't show up. So due to her inconsistency and Melissa's ability to run that insane 10.61, that's still crazy to me, man. 4th fastest time ever. And this is a name I didn't even hear about that much until recently. Melissa Jefferson Wooden. Hadn't heard that name until like a couple meets before the World Championship. I heard her name for the first time and she blitzed everybody. I was like, oh, she's one to watch. And one to watch she was. She won the World Championship gold. Let's see what else we have here in public opinion. Gravis says, yes, Tina will get her gold next time. Indeed. Indeed. It's going well. It's going well. So, folks, that's public opinion. Sports rivalry is healthy for track and field. I agree, Dre Views. It absolutely is, and it gets people to watch, not just us and them, but the whole world. So, there we have it, folks. There we have it, folks. Wonderful pull-out. Let's go to the business report now.
Public Opinion was brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
Drive the most exciting new vehicles in Jamaica. Schedule your 2024 Ford Ranger pickup or Ford Everest 7-seater SUV test drive now. Call or visit KIG today.
The time by KIG is...
It's 6:32.
Visit Marshall's Pharmacy, Greater Portmore, for all your prescription needs, gifts, personal care, household, and stationery items. The temperature by Marshall's Pharmacy, Greater Portmore is...
It's 31 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 30 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay. Good evening, welcome to the Business Report. I'm Mahiri Stewart. Jamaica welcomed a fresh wave of cruise arrivals last Thursday as the Margaritaville at Sea Islander made its inaugural call at the Reynolds Pier in Ocho Rios, St. Anne. The cruise vessel carried approximately 2,500 guests and a 1,000-member crew. The arrival of the vessel was the result of 2 years of planning and negotiations. The milestone was marked by a ceremonial exchange of plaques to symbolize the new partnership and commitment to future collaboration. During the ceremony, Administrator at the Port Authority of Jamaica, Shannon McCalla, said the occasion was a proud moment. Captain of the Margaritaville at Sea Islander, Theodore Mitropoulos, informed that plans are in place to deploy an even larger ship to Jamaica. The vessel, currently in the itinerary planning stages, is expected to carry roughly 3,500 guests and 1,000 crew. Billionaire Elon Musk has scooped up roughly $1 billion worth of Tesla shares in what is being seen as a vote of confidence in the electric car maker. Shares in Tesla, which have struggled to advance this year, jumped more than 6% in early trading on Monday on the news. Musk already held a roughly 13% stake in the company, but he has long sought more control of the firm, which he has been pushing to invest in robo-taxis, automation, and artificial intelligence AI. The company's board recently proposed a compensation plan valued at roughly $1 trillion, which would grant Musk up to 12% of the firm's shares if the company reaches certain targets. The board also said that it would grant him $29 billion worth of shares last month as a separate interim award after a larger pay package agreed in 2018 was struck down in a court battle. The proposals followed discussions with Musk in which he demanded that a 25% stake in the firm, at times threatening to quit Tesla entirely over the issue. And finally, in the currency markets, it cost 161 Jamaican dollars and 51 cents to buy $1. It costs 218 Jamaican dollars and 39 cents to buy £1 British pound, and it costs 119 Jamaican dollars to buy the Canadian dollar. That's the business report. Thank you for listening, and stay tuned to Nationwide at 5.
The wait is over. Spark is coming to you. Across Jamaica, we'll be fixing 10 roads per constituency. Over 100 roads will be fixed by September and 630 roads overall. This is real action, real improvement, real results. Every Jamaican deserves safer, stronger roads. Spark, the next chapter in Jamaica's infrastructure development.
Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, is a financial reporting firm that delivers accounting and compliance services on time. Call us today at 876-908-0486-7. Email us at clientservices@cocnjamaica.com or visit our website at www.cocnjamaica.com. COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology, and integrity.
Home is closer than you think when you save towards your dream home with the Homeowner Savings Plan, or HOSP, from CIBC Caribbean. With HOSP, you unlock preferential interest rates to earn more interest on your savings and pay less with a discounted mortgage rate. You can even borrow up to an additional US $5,000 or its equivalent to help you with your closing costs. Get home faster when you save the HOSP way with CIBC.
Delicious meals, poolside cocktails, right on the beach. Disconnect from your daily worries and reconnect with the one you love. There's no paradise like home. This summer, enjoy a romantic all-inclusive escape at Couples Tower Isle, Couples Sans Souci, Couples Negril, or Couples Swept Away from $295 USD per night. Take advantage of this offer today by visiting Couples Resorts at couples.com. Conditions apply.
Looking for superior quality transportation from an international award-winning provider? Well, look no further. Choose Island Car Rentals, Jamaica's leading car rental company, setting the standard for road transportation in Jamaica. For over 50 years, Island Car Rentals has been your trusted partner for reliable, top-quality vehicles. But we're more than just a car rental company. Need an airport transfer at any hour? Heading out of town and want to travel in style with a private chauffeur? Need a truck to rent for business or personal use? Or maybe you need a customized shuttle or tour for a large or a small group? Whatever your transportation need, Island Car Rentals has you covered. Call us today at 876-926-8012 or 876-929-5875 or visit www.islandcarrentals.com to book your next trip. Because Island people take better care of you.
Do it for your best life. Wait. Go check your HIV status. Wait.
So keep your life trending, no pretending. Me I tell you if you do it for you, do it for you. Every time you are link with a condom, coulda Ozzy, coulda wife, coulda be a random. Condom connect and protect your profile. Be your own fan. Do it for your best life. Do it for your best life. Do it. Don't put yourself at risk. Condom connect every time. Do it for your best life.
Residents of Jacks River, St. Mary, do you want to apply for a title but need to get your land surveyed? The National Land Agency and the VM Foundation are inviting you to a community meeting on Wednesday, September 16, 2025 at Faith Ministries Church, Jacks River, St. Mary from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Come and learn how you can have your land surveyed and apply for a title for your property. For more details, call 876-750-5263. The National Land Agency, one goal.
Welcome back, listeners, viewers. It is 6:40, time for the nation's business, and now we're talking about consumer prices, more accurately, inflation. The country's point-to-point inflation rate has fallen to its lowest level in nearly 60 years. According to data from the Statistical Institute of Jamaica, that's Statin, as of the end of August, Jamaica's point-to-point inflation rate was 1.2%. It's less than half the rate of 3.3% recorded the month prior. This is also well below the target range of 4 to 6% mandated by the Bank of Jamaica. The last time Jamaica's point-to-point inflation rate dipped so low was in May of 1967. It also represents the third consecutive month that the country's point-to-point inflation rate has been below the BOJ's target range. The rate was influenced primarily by the movements in the point-to-point inflation rates for the division's restaurants, accommodation services, education, and information and communication. Meanwhile, the inflation rate for the month of August specifically was 0.3%. The main contributor to the increase was movements in the index for food and non-alcoholic beverages. We are now being joined by the acting director of the Administrative Statistics Division at Statin, Xiomara MacDonald. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening to you, Ms. MacDonald. So please, the lowest point in nearly 60 years, 1.2%. I believe it's at one point it was 1%, and that was way back in the 60s. What has led to this reduction in the point-to-point inflation rate, this very dramatic reduction?
Well, if you're comparing 1966 to now, yes, it would be a dramatic. But since we're comparing August 2024, August 2025, right? So I'll keep it there. We're comparing, like, higher prices were in 2024, and even though it's that low, we still have an increase in prices, but just at a much lower rate. So that's what is happening, actually.
So what is specifically different in terms of the price comparison year on year between now and last August?
Okay, right. So especially our three major divisions, food, naturally, being the highest rated, we were coming out at 6.5% 2024, and now it's 0.5 in 2025. So that's a dramatic fall off. Housing, electricity was 8.8% flat 2024, and now we're seeing a negative 0.5% for August 2025. And in 2024, to round off our top three, transport was increasing at 10.3%, but now it's falling at 0.4%. So as I said, it's comparing the 2 points, August 2024 setup prices over this year, August 2025, and that's why we're seeing that low point-to-point inflation movement.
And is that trend holding for the last 3 point-to-point rates based on the months prior? Because it has been steadily going down in terms of the point-to-point inflation each month now for the last 3 months. So is that the same issue, as in the prices were that much higher in the 3 months of the last year compared to 2025?
Yes. It's called the base effect in inflation, right? So we're comparing higher prices over the previous year to the current prices, which is this year. So again, prices are increasing, but just at a much lower rate.
And just please explain that to our listeners in terms of what you mean by the base difference.
space different, right? So as I said, 2024, we would have been having higher prices in food. We would have had some droughts, more extreme drought periods. Gas prices also would have been going up, along with electricity rates. In comparison, now this year we're having increases in food prices, but not as high as last year. The food, electricity, as we know, JPS has also cut the GCT on our electricity bills, and transport, which is another third highest division, is also showing a fall in 2025.
And I understand you wouldn't have the full statistics for the next month coming in, but is there an expectation that this trend of low point-to-point inflation year on year to continue for the rest of 2025, or is there an expectation that it will pick up at some point?
Well, so as you know, starting we don't do expectations or projections.
Yes, you just report what is there.
We just report what is calculated. We calculate, we analyze, and we disseminate accordingly. So we'll be unable to give an expectation, but for sure, I know you guys will be tuning in next month when we do release the September 2025 inflation rate, and I'll be happy to oblige you guys then in an interview if needed.
Okay, then let's focus specifically on the rate for the month of August, 0.3%. That's quite low even in and of itself. Does that suggest that food prices have really seen a tapering off in terms of its increases?
Correct. As I said, especially because our highest weighted class within that division is our vegetables and tubers, and we have been seeing some declines in a lot of the ground provisions. As I said, we have not had any extreme drought and or floods over this year in comparison to last year. So the weather has been favorable to the farmers, and hence we're not seeing as high rate increases in prices as we were seeing last year.
And I understand, well, you can't speak for the Bank of Jamaica, but certainly there are ramifications for the point-to-point inflation rate staying below the expected threshold. And certainly, to some extent, this has an impact on government revenues because of the tax rate and etc. So should we be concerned that this has continued now for 3 straight months?
Well, as you correctly said, I can't speak for the Bank of Jamaica. And again, let's take it into context. It's just a point-to-point over period. As you just stated, July was also it was 3.3. June before that was 3.8. The May point-to-point period was 5. That was 5 point something. Right. So it's just 2 points opposed to us start worrying and making predictions, etc. But BOJ would definitely be the best person to speak to that, the ramifications, etc.
Understood. Well, since I have you here, there is another matter that came to the fore recently, and that's the changes in the system of national accounts. Do you have an understanding of that you could explain that to our listeners, because it resulted in quite a dramatic reduction in the country's debt to GDP ratio? So could you explain what goes into the system of national accounts and why it changed?
I will be doing injustice to our institute, right? So I am unable to speak to that because that's a different division / department. Right, fully different. So, you can reach out to our communications and marketing team, though, and they will definitely lead you to the person that would be able to speak to that.
Okay. But then, let's focus specifically on the statistics. For the point-to-point inflation rate, the main thing, one of the things pointed was education. How has education changed between now and August in terms of its pricing? Why is that one listed as was the primary movers in terms of the point-to-point inflation rate?
Well, again, we're comparing, the current year the current August over previous August. So for the education, we do collect the school fees, among other, the secondary, the CSEC fees, etc. So again, comparing this year over last year's price movements and also the increases in these fees, it's attributing to the movement. And also restaurants and accommodations also was listed. We had some increases but not as high price.
And what does information and communication entail in terms of for the layman? Are we talking things like Digicel Flow, or is this something else that we're not properly understanding?
Right. It does include a number of things, laptops, phones. Also, that includes the service providers, etc. Without going into details, right? So we do have a few items within that division.
And I mean, a lot of people misunderstand, as you pointed out, this matter of point-to-point inflation. It's not suggesting that there has been a decline in prices. It's just that the rate in terms of which prices have gone up has declined itself. Just give us understanding to that to our listeners.
Right. So I guess for an example, it's okay. So let me use this example. You have a child that is growing, and for 1 year they have a growth spurt, right? Very much. And then the following year they did grow, but they grow at a much lower rate. It's not as if they stopped growing, it's just at a much lower rate. So it's the same thing with the prices. They are increasing, it's just at a lower rate compared to the previous year, point to point.
And this is in terms of how it is tracked as a metric. It is tracked year on year, meaning the comparison is not to the month before, but it is to the month that is to the month that was the year before.
Correct. Point to point, correct, yes.
And in terms of to the average listener, which one is more important to track in terms of them wanting to have an understanding of pricing as it is now? Is the point-to-point rate they should track, or the monthly inflation rate?
Right. Thank you for that. So for the average consumer, they normally focus on their month-to-month, because we go to the supermarket, especially persons that go to the supermarket, weekly and or monthly. They tend to use the month-over-month. But that's more readily easier to grasp among the average consumer. So the more technocrats will use the point-to-point.
And why is there that differentiation in terms of the monthly versus the point-to-point? Why does one set of statisticians, so to speak, or data analysts look at one versus the other?
I think it depends on what they want and what they're using it for. So again, if you want a quick review of what the inflation rate is, August over July, you're going to look at that 0.3 for the 2025. But if you want to look at year over year, like how much price has increased and or declined, you're going to look year over year, or even you can use a different period. It doesn't have to be year over year. You can look at a 10-year trend. It really depends on what you want to use and what the benefit for you.
Understood. That is Acting Director of Administrative Statistics at the Statistical Institute of Jamaica, Xiomara McDonald. Thank you for joining us, Madam McDonald.
Thank you.
It has been a pleasure.
Thank you.
So listeners, as you hear it there, so this point-to-point inflation rate of 1.2%, that is following, I believe, 3.3% the month before and 3.8% the month before that. That's 3 months now with the target well outside of the Bank of Jamaica's 4 to 6% rate. For those who are wondering, inflation is going down, that's a good thing. But as I alluded to, that has an impact in terms of the calculations of government revenues. The government revenues in terms of what it expects to collect in terms of taxes and others is based on a specific point-to-point inflation rate being maintained. So when you have a long period of time where that rate remains below the target range, it also means what you collect in terms of taxes is not going to match up to what you are expecting in terms of your projections. So I know the Bank of Jamaica is also tracking these things, and I suspect that when their press conference or their update in terms of their monetary policy comes out at a later point, it will take into suggestion what is happening in the point-to-point inflation rate, and they will make their adjustments or just today that, well, we expect it to be lower at this point in time, but we suspect that it will trend upwards as time continues. As she said, the main thing is it was 2024, which was an interesting period of time because, as you recall, we had that period of natural disasters. Well, not natural disasters, a specific type of natural disaster, inclement weather from a tropical storm and a hurricane, which most likely drove up prices at that point. And as a result of us, and I knock on wood when I say this, to this point in 2025, not having a similar concern, we seem to be enjoying the benefits of more or less some very calm weather here in Jamaica. No storms, no hurricanes. There is a matter of drought to contend with, but as a result of that differentiation, we are seeing a rate of increase in terms of prices here that is relatively low, and that is relatively low comparative to the United States even, where they are having some issues with inflation there as well. So we will track it, see where things go for the rest of 2025, and see where things end come December. But please, we now take a break and come back with more for you listeners.
The Watchman, exploring issues shaping our society, government, and business. Provocative, unconventional, Dr. Henley Morgan is The Watchman.
Good evening. Humble in victory, gracious in defeat. It's hard to be gracious in defeat. Indelibly etched in my memory is the childhood experience of my late father, Reverend Dr. Cyril Morgan, losing the Southeast St. James seat for the PNP in the 1961 election. Supporters from the victorious JLP made a coffin and held a mock funeral in the village square. They marched, shouted, and sang, "Morgan dead, Morgan dead, Morgan dead." Too young to fully understand the meaning of the spectacle, I was left with only one emotion: pain. Believe me when I say, there is hardly a pain like the hurt caused by losing at the polls. The pain is worse for the party leader, who must bear not only the disappointment of candidates and supporters who invested time, energy, and money only to end up on the losing team, but also the embarrassment of rejection on a national scale. Delivering the speech conceding defeat is one of the hardest things a leader will ever be called upon to do. On the night of September 3, 2025, PNP leader Mark Jefferson Golding had to do just that. Concede defeat to the JLP at the end of a hard-fought battle for the hearts and minds of the electorate. This is what he said. I quote in part, "First of all, I think it is my duty as a believer in democracy to acknowledge and concede defeat based on the result, and to congratulate our opponents, the Jamaica Labour Party, for their victory tonight. Jamaica's democracy is important to me. We must cherish it. Sometimes it brings disappointments. Sometimes those disappointments give a sense that not all is fair and just. But it is very important that we put democracy ahead of all those feelings. I accept the result of these elections. Although I am disappointed in the outcome, it is only correct that I expressly acknowledge the success that our opponents have managed to gain. I want to thank the people of Jamaica for having received us so well and having given us hundreds of thousands of votes and 29 seats. We don't take that for granted. This is a difficult night and not an easy speech to make. One does not want a result that doesn't mean success. It means the government will get its third term. But the People's National Party is alive and well. The work begins right away to prepare ourselves for the next opportunity to serve the nation in government. And I believe the people in due course will give us that chance. The word is love. End of quote. From speech by PNP leader Mark Golding, conceding defeat in the general election to the JLP. The speech contains the elements of being gracious in defeat, including 1. Concede as soon as it becomes clear defeat is imminent. 2. Accept the defeat. 3. Congratulate the winner. 4. No blame finding or finger pointing. 5. Display empathy with those devastated by the loss. 6. Express belief in the inviolable principles that are more important than winning. 7. Recommit to the cause and what the party stands for. 8. Encourage supporters with the hope that the tide will turn in the future. And 9. Create an atmosphere of calm and unity in the nation's interest. Part 2 will focus on how to be humble in victory. I will examine the Prime Minister's victory speech to see what there is to learn or unlearn. Think on these things.
Produced by Agency for Inner City Renewal, AIR, and recorded in the Jamming Studio Trenchtown, a breath of fresh air bringing change to the inner city.
Every time you are link with a condom, coulda Ozzy, coulda wife, coulda be a random. Do it for your best life.
The time by the Ministry of Health and Wellness is...
It's 7 o'clock.
Track and Field's global showpiece heads back to Asia for its 2025 staging. The World Athletics Championships from Tokyo, Japan is live on Nationwide 90 FM. September 13 to 21.
Great start from Seville, who's got a little bit of a march on Nolan. Seville's going to win this. Brilliant race. He even has time to salute.
How will the Jamaicans stack up? The likes of Kishane, Oblique, Nikisha, Tina, Sherika, and Lavelle, all seeking podium spots.
Really good running on the near side too from Tia Clayton. Tia Clayton takes it there.
And the world will say goodbye to Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce.
Watch for Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce.
She brings the curtain down on her 18-year career. She goes back to where it all started.
And she's going to do it. Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce.
Live every moment from the World Athletics Championships from Tokyo, Japan, September 13 to 21 live with a kind of coverage only Nationwide 90 FM provides.
Due to our live broadcast of the World Athletics Championship in Tokyo, Japan, scheduled to run from September 12 to 20, there will be no airing of Nationwide this morning. The early morning news package will resume following the conclusion of the games. Nationwide apologizes for the inconvenience caused.
Welcome back, listeners and viewers. We now turn to the United States for a bit, where the Secretary of the U.S. Treasury, Scott Bessent, says Washington reached a framework deal with China on the ownership of TikTok's American operations. Bessent says the framework was set in trade talks in Madrid to pave the way for U.S. ownership. He says U.S. President Donald Trump and Chinese President Xi Jinping would complete the deal on Friday. Trump said on Truth Social that the talks had gone very well, while China confirmed a framework agreement but said no deal would be made at the expense of Chinese companies' interests. A deadline is looming for the Chinese owner of TikTok to find a buyer for its American operations or face a shutdown and ban in the United States. In January, the U.S. Supreme Court upheld a law passed in April 2024 banning the app unless its parent company ByteDance sold its U.S. division. The U.S. Justice Department said that TikTok's access to data on American users poses a national security threat of immense depth and scale. ByteDance has repeatedly insisted that its U.S. operations are fully independent and no data has been shared with the Chinese government. The company argued that the ban would violate free speech protections for its 170 million users. TikTok went dark for a day in January after the law came into effect before Trump intervened and issued a 75-day postponement. The deadline for a sale has since been extended 3 times. The latest delay to the ban is due to end on Wednesday, September 17. More in this report from CCN.
All right, breaking news. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says that the framework for a deal has been reached to keep TikTok in the United States. Now, you might remember a bipartisan majority of Congress voted to effectively ban TikTok here because of Chinese ownership. But despite the law, the administration has kept pushing back that deadline.
We have a framework for a TikTok deal. The two leaders, President Trump and Party Chair Xi, will speak on Friday to complete the deal, but we do have a framework for a deal with TikTok.
All right, CNN's Elena Treen is at the White House. Any idea what this framework for the deal is?
Well, we're still waiting for it, and we definitely heard Scott Bessent try to play it off and say he can't share any of the details, but that the commercial aspects of the deal have been agreed to. Of course, we have to see what the president and Chinese President Xi Jinping say on Friday, because really what we heard from both Bessent and the United States Trade Representative Jamieson Greer is that it will be finalized after getting sign-off from leadership. And of course, that call between Trump and Xi is going to take place on Friday to do just that. But we also heard more, John, from Jamieson Greer, like I said, the United States Trade Representative. He was also in Madrid for these talks with their Chinese counterparts on this. And he said that the President Donald Trump, called both him and Bessent last night to share kind of what he wanted out of a potential deal. Listen to how he put it.
President Trump played a role in this. We had a call with him last night. We had specific guidance from him. We shared it with our Chinese counterparts. And without his leadership and the leverage he provides, we would not have been able to conclude the deal today.
Now, John, if this deal is actually struck, it would be the culmination of a really years-long process now of trying to figure out what to do about TikTok. You mentioned it, but the president has now pushed back a self-imposed deadline multiple times on trying to reach a deal with China on TikTok to either, sell part of it, divest part of it to the United States so that it can continue operating within the U.S. And this has definitely been a big goal of President Donald Trump's. He often talks about TikTok as helping deliver him young voters in his election in 2024. But it was also something that, as you mentioned, a majority of people in Congress had voted to ban. It was signed off by former President Joe Biden if a deal with the United States on divesting most of TikTok did not come through. All to say, this has been a long time coming. We have to see what the details actually look like, but the president is very optimistic about this.
Yeah, we need to know who's going to own it, right? We need to know who in the United States here is going to own it, which seems like the big part of the deal. Elena Treen at the White House covering all these developments. Thank you very much.
So there you have it, listeners, from CNN. I don't know if to say the sale of TikTok by ByteDance is closer to a reality, but it seems at least a general framework as to that sale is now in the works, and I guess we'll get more information come Friday, and we'll see how that turns out. So I suppose now it is time for your calls. It is 7:07. We'll take a quick break and come back. The numbers are 630-937-124 and 618-8255.
Jamaica's poverty rate has dropped from 16.7% to 8.2%. As the government's economic program begins to pay off, our country is heading towards sustained growth. We are building Jamaica. The time by the office of the Prime Minister is...
It's 7:08.
Multi-link, access every time, everywhere I go. Multi-link, 24/7 access for me. It's just a win-win when we use multi-link. This card is Jamaican built, yeah. Fast and secure, you can use anywhere, spend while supporting the economy. Look for the multi-link logo on your card and benefit from Jamaica's largest debit payment network. Multi-link, 24/7 access for me.
What would I do without my multi-link?
Residents of Jacks River, St. Mary, do you want to apply for a title but need to get your land surveyed? The National Land Agency and the VM Foundation are inviting you to a community meeting on Wednesday, September 16, 2025 at Faith Ministries Church, Jacks River, St. Mary from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Come and learn how you can have your land surveyed and apply for a title for your property. For more details, call 876-750-5263. The National Land Agency, one goal.
Hi there. Here's some good news for these trying times. Quote, "By God's word, I can see where I'm going. They throw a beam of light on my dark path." Unquote. Psalm 119, verse 105. Listen for God's word weekdays at 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. through
Oasis. Stop by for a refreshing drink and share a God perspective for the day.
Oasis. Weekdays 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. right here on Nationwide, a revolution in media.
The rebroadcast of the Oasis can be heard weekdays at 5:45 a.m.
Good evening again, listeners. As I said, taking your calls. The numbers are 630-937-124 and 618-8255. Papa Nana, you're on the line.
How you do?
Doing all right. How are you, sir?
Well, I'm all right. And your co-host is?
It's just me, solo tonight.
Okay, you can manage, man. You begin. All right. So, and that's where pressure you, and I hope nobody don't do it. All right, listen to me. I want to ask you a question. What is the symbol of shaking a man's hand?
The symbol of shaking a man's hand. Not sure what that means. Tell me, what is it?
All right. I am just saying it in my way. If you think I'm wrong, you're telling me. I think when you shake a man's hand, sometimes it signals peace, or sometimes it signals...
Oh, that's what you mean. Yeah, an agreement, yeah.
An agreement between two people who were successfully negotiating something between both of them, right?
Yeah, okay.
All right, so listen to me now. Do you think it would be prudent for Mark Golding to shake the Prime Minister's hand when after he's sworn in?
I think it would send the right signal.
It would send the right signal to the public.
Yes, to the public, yeah. I think it would send the right signal. I mean, he has conceded the election, and to this point, I think he suggested that he's not calling into question the final result. So if he should be in attendance at the swearing in tomorrow, and I think it would send the right signal to the Jamaican people and the body politic for him to shake the Prime Minister's hand.
And then now the PNP going around and saying that the Prime Minister didn't win the election and blah, blah, this and blah, blah, that. Listen, you know why I say to you? Mark Golding is not a man who said something today and tomorrow and remember what he's saying. So I don't think in shaking the Prime Minister, I would never, I don't know if how it would look with the public. But anyway, let me leave after the party. I wouldn't shake his hand, to be honest to you. But anyway, let me say something to you. I'm sorry for the Prime Minister, but I know he can manage. The only two changes that I think he should make in this new cabinet. Give Mr. Delroy Chuck arrest, and I would change Desmond Mackenzie. I would give Desmond Mackenzie the Speaker of the House and give Juliet Holness that position. Put Mr.
So you're saying put Juliet at local gov and then put Desmond as Speaker. So why are you so quick to get rid of Delroy Chuck? Delroy Chuck, I don't know. He doesn't strike. I understand that he is getting on in the years, but he doesn't strike me as one of those that you need to shuffle off. At least not to me.
Well, all right. Well, listen, that is your view, but I think that Miss Crawford, Audrey Marks, Monty Quat, because he's bigger than you. Monty Quat. Right. I think Monty Quat should come back, and that Weekly should come back in the cabinet. That is how I see it. I will sit down and listen and hear what the other people say, but I think those people should get a cabinet post.
I think I agree with you in terms of Dr. Wheatley. I think he has spent more than enough time in the political wilderness for something that ultimately it has been proven both in the courts and elsewhere that he had done nothing wrong.
Exactly.
His talents are wasted just sitting out there at this point.
Exactly. And the other thing, one last quick thing. Who is the successor to the DPP?
I'll have to ask Ricardo to get on that one. I don't know who will be that successor at this point. We shall see. I don't know who that successor is.
All right, sir. I just want to big up my big-time friend, Mr. Stammer, and big up Godfrey, and the other day, Mandy, and my good friend, Mr. Cliffy Hughes. I don't hear anything from him. So I just want to big them up.
All right. I hear Cliff is in China. You never heard? Didn't he tell you guys that he was heading off for about a week, doing some business in China?
If somebody tell me that he was supposed to be heading out, but if somebody tell me I learn him, I'm going to learn how to live up in Grand Sydney. I hope he never with no one hand, because I know him don't know how to live up with me.
All right, Papa Nana. Have a good evening.
You take care of yourself.
I'll send you, Papa Nana.
Yes, man. Big up Mr. Powell, Kerry Powell. Big him up.
Carleen Smith over on YouTube says Chuck should be shuffled, while Owen says Chuck should stay. So you see, there seems to be some contention there. I mean, I don't judge somebody in terms of their physical age. If you're 60, 70, that's not the key factor to me. It's how vibrant you seem and how much you're bringing to that portfolio. And to the most part, Delroy Chuck has done well with the justice portfolio. This matter of restorative justice and other issues in terms of reducing the backlogs in courts, you can see where the court system has thrived under Minister Chuck. I don't really believe we need to see the back of him at this point. But I say Chris Muffling is here saying Delroy Chuck as Speaker of the House. I can see that, But in my opinion, though, the Speaker of the House to a minister, which one would you consider to be in terms of the more prestigious post, the ministerial portfolio or Speaker of the House? I think in terms of prestige, I'd put more in being the Speaker than the minister, but I genuinely think at this point in time, based on what she's accomplished, that being Juliet Holness, she should be given a portfolio and a place at the cabinet. I know there are concerns about her being wedded to the Prime Minister, but she has shown, not only as Speaker, but as an MP and as a legislator, that she is very capable, and I believe her talents are wasted with her not being in the cabinet. She has shown that she is not just the Prime Minister's wife. She has shown that she's an MP, an intellectual, and a legislator in her own right. And I would love to see her elevated to a position in the cabinet. Who else do we have now? West, good evening.
Hey, Siobhan, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
From the other day I want to call. I am thankful, I am grateful, but I'm still complaining, and I don't think because somebody do something good for you, if they are creating some level of discomfort, you should just tell us that no, because that's something good in my do. And what I'm relating to is the whole idea. I don't know if it's water commission or whomsoever it is, but if a water commission, it will not be surprised because they have been creating the most discomfort for me on the road and many others. Right?
I already know where this conversation is going.
Take, for instance, down by the boulevard. For years, nearby cheese factory across from the boulevard shopping center, for years, they keep digging out.
Oh my God, Carl! I know exactly where you're referring to. I think any Jamaican who travels on that road knows exactly where you are talking about.
It's like if you get some apprentice and say trial and error. If it work, it work. If it don't work, it just don't work. It's years them been on that, and I'm saying a full time for somebody to do something about it, man. And look at it now, Siobhan. They start for quite some time digging up the whole of Seymour, Retreat, Seaview Avenue. And one would think then that they would at least repair the road knowing all the traffic can bite us morning and evening before you move on to somewhere else. Some time ago when I saw them start put on the black oil thing on the road, I said to myself, okay, great, something gonna be done. Just to see these apprentices come back and start dig all over again, just like the beginning.
I agree with you, Carla. I believe it shows a kind of lack of coordination between the various state agencies because why not, while they are, whatever you need to do in terms of what the NWC needs to do, coordinate with the NWA and do it before the road is finished or when they're rehabilitating the road. So you don't have to, after they've gone through the trouble of rehabilitating one of the major arteries in the country, because that is what Washington Boulevard is, that you then have to dig it up again at a later point. It just seems so counterproductive.
Yeah, but Siobhan, when I think it stopped there, the whole, I'm not calling my name, the people them go back up by Mona and then they got the whole of Wellington and Monroe Road. And then when I think it down there, they are now on Ligonier Avenue, digging up and trying to practice how to run sewage pipe or how to do what. And I'm saying, who is in control of these people? Not because you're doing something good, being to say you must do anything you want to do and who want vex, and who want please.
And even if you need to dig up the road, shouldn't there be some scheduling, some understanding between the NWA and the NWC that, yes, we have to do some maintenance on the pipe works under the road? Can we schedule that we will limit the need for an intervention at the NWA or schedule an intervention from the NWA as quickly as possible so that the disruption in terms of traffic flow and just the general nuisance to the Jamaican people is limited as much as possible?
And it seems as if they had no time man as to when they're going to pay. You see, I remember back in the days when you would have police traffic cop would go to certain intersection and control traffic. In my estimate, if I'm wrong, I seek forgiveness, but this is my view. You know, is a few places apart from like Andrews at Kingsway, but it's a few places when traffic can murder us. You would find traffic cop go there and man-tied. You would find the traffic police riding on the bike and people in your car if on your phone to get a ticket or to pull you over and create more problem. So the emphasis is not on free flow. It is on how many tickets you can give. And I'm saying, yeah, do your work. And I'm not saying that you should be on the phone. But at the end of the day, if that is all you come out to do, is just that help make the traffic flow. You know, if I sound ungrateful, I'm sorry about that, but the whole idea is that production doesn't only rely on these people, man. What about us? We are business people just the same.
Well, I would say that the productivity of the country more relies on the private sector and the private citizen than the government. So I agree with you in that respect that should be what has the primacy in terms of utilization and the general infrastructure of the country. The purpose of the government is to ensure that infrastructure suits the carrying out of productive activities, both in terms of entrepreneurship and general consumerism. That is the purpose of governance, and it seems far too often that the governance is the hindrance and the disruption to that private commerce.
Siobhan, I am running this, but one more thing. If you can, I don't know who to reach out to, but you see, when I go Linstead bypass, I make the right turn going to Redwood, sunny side, Sunnyside district that take you up to Guysdale.
Yes.
If you can find somebody from whomsoever, whether it be opposition, whether it be Prime Minister, whomsoever, to let them know that that road still exists and people with vehicle, donkey cart not travel are peer people. And it's a disgrace for years from this to go all the way up into Redwood. No mention about every race course. They fix every race course in the election. But me know the election does say road soon gone to. But for God's sake, man, I don't know if our Ministry of Works or whomsoever, but try, but help me short it out.
All right. Thank you for the call. I see strongly here said PM must now accept his full salary. I don't know if that's possible, strongly. When I checked with my sources in government, this is not just the Prime Minister rejecting it. Based on what they set out, that Prime Minister's salary as it stands, I think something like $9 million, is now the salary unless a future government or his government wishes to amend that. So it is incumbent on his office, it's incumbent on whoever now takes up the office in the future that is the salary. It's not a matter of the Prime Minister simply just saying, I'm not taking the difference. He simply has set it in the public sector books that the Prime Minister's salary is X amount. Bobby, you're on?
My good friend Siobhan, how is everything, man?
Doing all right.
Yes, I think now is the first time I talked to you after that victory day.
Is this the first time you talked to me after September 3?
Yeah, man.
It's possible. I don't think I've been, I think because of some interesting scheduling issues, I haven't actually been. Yeah, it's actually possible.
Right,
What's up?
And I was hardly at home, all over the country and so on with my team, and I've been working closely with my council over here, As a matter of fact, my council over here, Mr. Jacob Puka, and the MP, Miss Grange, they have been doing a good job, and so on. So I really commend them. What I want to say is that, I know I am scheduled to be at the swearing-in ceremony tomorrow.
Oh, happy to hear it. So you're going there?
Right, yes. Actually, every year he's swearing, After every election, I always go there. But I just want to say to him publicly, congratulations again. And, Mr. Prime Minister, the Honorable Dr. Andrew Holness, look here, don't let nobody hold a gun at your head and so on.
You're talking figuratively, of course.
Yeah, just stand up at the wicket and play the ball straight in the boundary. Don't play any defensive shot and so on. Right? And I would advise you, sir, the cabinet that you have, don't bother make any big changes. Delroy Truck, I hear people talking about Delroy Truck, but Delroy Truck must stay where he is. I am a justice of the peace, and Delroy Truck is doing a good job in his portfolio. So I am saying he should stay there until time comes for him to retire. What I would say to the Prime Minister, for like the Speaker of the House, I would have advised him to give it back to Mrs. Dalrymple Philibert and put Mrs. Holness into a cabinet. Right, but I think the Speaker of the House would more fit Miss Philibert, because I have been observing her from Bruce Golden time until this present administration, and I think she have done a good job. Right, so I really don't want the Prime Minister to really make any major shift in his cabinet. He can let them stay, and pertaining to when he's going to appoint his senators, I am making one recommendation to him. Do you know who is that, Siobhan?
Who is that?
Well, I am recommending my councillor over here to him that he can appoint the councillor for the Ensom City Division, Mr. Jacob Kukan. He can appoint him to the Senate and let him be the junior minister to Harold Vaz. because he's an high voltage engineer. Right, yes, he works with JPS, so I think that ministry would be the ideal thing for him. You know, I don't say it to him, but I am saying it so that the Prime Minister can hear, and I hope where Mr. Kukan is, and he's listening to Nationwide, he will hear that I am recommending a position higher.
All right, Bobby. I think there's going to be a lot of people who have an interest in, I believe, assuming that everybody who was there before goes back, there should be 2 openings in the Senate at this point.
Right.
So I think that's going to be quite a heavily contested set of positions there. So I will see who gets those ultimately. But thank you for the call. Carl, good evening. How you doing?
Not bad at all, man. Where do Chef, man?
Doing all right.
Boy, you must be all right because you don't have to worry about your job at Nationwide. All that
Carl, I was never concerned about my job at Nationwide.
All right. Anyhow,
whoever won that election, I don't think that was ever anybody's concern here.
Anyhow, me see that it's secure. So. Anyhow, my question when we want to ask you tonight, Mr. Scott.
Norman Scott, yes.
Norman Scott. It assumed that him hit a lady. Him is now being charged.
That is my understanding, yes.
Right. Because we keep within the law because we don't want no problem. Now that Mr. Scott being charged, it is fair enough that Mr. Scott should step aside from the mayorship until he sort out his problem.
I would not disagree with that, but there's nothing in law unless he has been convicted of a crime that requires him to step aside.
I take your dear now to take you to other things. Where is Miss Duncan Sutherland from Friday gone to be calling for those for Mr. Scott to step aside and tell him clear? Like when they need a call, see, Mr. George, right? Them a call for this, them a call for that. If you look at the PMP now, them all a double standard of what them call for.
But you know, Carl, the politics is the politics. The politics is just a basket of double standards.
Right. Anyhow, leave that. But we are calling upon Mr. Scott. Mr. Scott, step aside now, sir. You have been charged. Step aside and go clear your name. Step aside, sir. Step aside. And that is the problem we always telling you about the human rights them. Now using correct name. You say if I did somebody for the JLP did that and get charged Friday, every human rights shirt them orange shirt would have put on. Every orange shirt would have put on and they're on top of the mountain.
I will say this: I would have expected to hear greater level of concern from civil society specifically about what he's being charged with.
Chef, no, you're wrong. There's someone is a PMP person did what assume that is a PMP person did what them did and charged, but it was JLP. You know, man, you hear say Andrew for resign because the book stop with Andrew. You get to me, I try to say to you.
I hear what you're saying, Carl, but I take the more illuminated view that regardless of which political party is doing the wrong, that I would expect to hear, considering what the concern is in terms of what happened on election day or the allegation of what happened on election day is, I would have expected to hear more from civil society in terms of their concerns.
All right, Chef, you know what the PMP is like today now?
What is that?
It's like when time first time he did that, I'm at St. Elizabeth there. And Chuck used to come from Kingston, come by pumpkin us Monday morning time. So it's 3 grade of pumpkin. Them so the man took up his first pumpkin and he knock it. If that one didn't sound good, he said that a second. Then put it down. And he lick again and he find one way. Like grade 1 this, so you have a grade 1 and a grade 2, and he knock again and he put on one a grade 2. When he done skip through the grade 1 and the grade 2 pumpkin, he reach to the grade 3 and he take up some and he say, you know, them are not really so well, so Give them to grade 3 and some left on it. Throw them up on the truck and then I know you. That's what the PMP reached to today. It's like the Jamaica people reject PMP. Reject, you know. And you know, a plan to organize a demonstration tomorrow. So what are you saying to the Jamaica people? The Jamaica people make a mistake? Is that what they were saying?
Let's see what happens tomorrow, Carl, before we make pronouncements.
They'll give you the last
But
one.
let me just say that I don't know, I cannot think of any time in recent history where we've blocked roads or done any such thing over the outcome of a general election. I don't want us to go back to that kind of...
The people's choice.
And
the people's choice.
And my call to the leadership of the People's National Party is, if they believe such a thing could potentially happen there, that they call or dissuade their supporters from carrying out such actions, because it does not look well, it doesn't reflect well on the country's democracy if a swathe of the electorate or just a swathe of the population is going to contest the confirmed result of a general election, not only by our observers here, not only by the EOJ and the ECJ, but a confirmed result called free, fair, and free of harassment and intimidation, as suggested by the OAS and CARICOM and other observer groups. Let's not go down that path. I don't even want us to consider that as a possibility.
Chef, before you got that people, I was called yesterday that them PMP, them are plan to say them not going to the parliament to sit in front of the prime minister. Them are do for them parliament from the conference center, like what Michael Manley did. Well, if you don't feel to go down there this time, you can go ahead. But there will be no light there and there will be no water.
Let us not make presumptions, Carl. Let us see what actually unfolds. Let us see what unfolds in the coming days, but let's not make any presumptions.
You know, go there, man. Go there. No water, no light. It will disconnect.
All right, Carl. I don't know if that's going to happen. As I said, I don't want to be presumptuous about what is going to happen in the coming days. Let us see how things unfold. That is the responsible thing to do. Let us take that as the responsible path. Carl, you there? All right. Who done it? Good to hear from you. How are you doing?
Good night, Siobhan. How are you?
I'm doing quite well. How are you, sir?
Yeah, man. I'm giving thanks. Let me be a little humor thought first. You know, when the election was held on Wednesday, the 3rd, and my wife was listening, and when she heard that you were covering with the opposition leader, Ricardo Brooks was the Prime Minister. So I said, Ricardo Brooks always a winner. So that give it away. So my wife said, Lord mercy, you're going to bear with Chevron, poor Chevron being around those people, and I know that you're not so comfortable at all, although you have to do your job.
Let me be fair to the People's National Party. I get the vitriol, and sometimes I hear it out in the field from the lay supporter and sometimes other individuals, but I have never been let me choose my words carefully. I have never been accosted by a member of the official executive of the People's National Party while at their headquarters. That has never happened before. So I've never felt unsafe at PNP headquarters.
Let me not put you in a spot, so you may be in a spot about with them in the future, you know? But that was just so.
And I don't expect any journalist to feel unsafe. If a journalist feels unsafe at either PNP headquarters or JLP headquarters, we have a problem in this country. No journalist should be afraid to cover a political movement. It should not happen in a country such as our very, very well-established democratic traditions at this point.
Yeah, we are getting so mature now, and we need to move away from the tribal politics. Yeah? Before I got too much, because other person might be waiting, I have two quick things. One of them, Siobhan, and I think you and I have already gone down that road, but I'm going to revisit it again. Now that opposition leader Mark Olden has renounced his citizenship, is it true that renounced his British citizenship? Is it true that he cannot reapply for it?
I don't believe that's entirely the case. I think there is a possibility to reapply for British citizenship under specific circumstances, but I do know it is not particularly easy to do so.
So my God, we're going to talk with this man? Oh boy.
But he's always been a Jamaican, sir. He has British citizenship by descent because of his father, but he has always been a Jamaican, so he has always been one of ours. He has always been one of ours.
When you know that man dance and talk, you not see no Jamaican there, so. You not see no Brazilian, no Jamaican no dance.
Out of many one people who done it, remember, out of many one people.
Anyway, the final thing now, this is the bombshell. Remember these allegations made by, I think it was during the Engolia with the PNP and Lawrence Rowe. And this argument came up about selling senators' seats and government board membership position.
Let us be clear though, that happens on both sides, you know. There's a lot of horse trading that happens on Senate seats and board appointments and things like that, you know. The concern at the time was the supposed payment, the alleged payment to be given to Rowe. That was the concern at the time. Not the we might appoint you to the Senate if we win. That just happens as part of the course.
Oh, because there's some rumbling out there now, right, about some things, some shenanigans that went down, and such man is in a spot of battle because there are some difficult waters.
I'm certain, let me say this, you know, I'm certain that some checks were cashed that might now bounce based on the electoral results that have happened. I am certain of that. Let me just put it that way.
You know more than me, but how can you be sharing a senator seat and government board seat that you don't have? Only a con man do those type of things, man.
But I mean, you saw the level of confidence the People's National Party up to a point were quite confident that they were going to get the majority come September 3. Or when the election was called. They were quite absolutely, as in even in quiet circles, they had no doubt.
They were almost telling him a lot of things, you know, and there is also allegation or there is on social media showing where you were at a certain barnyard. So he did everything, but God stood up for us and God saved Jamaica. And this election has proven who Jamaicans really are. And I'm thankful that we made the right decision.
All right, good night,
my friend.
All right, good night. Have a good evening.
So Carly, you know, with the before I go,
yeah,
the Speaker of the House cannot be a senator. Good evening, Carly. Yeah, it has to be,
yes, the Speaker of the House cannot be a senator. Yes, that's
has to be someone from the law.
You can be a president of the Senate as a senator, but you can't be the Speaker of the House as a senator.
You can't be the Speaker of the House.
All right. All right, thank you. Richard, good evening. Richard?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Yes. Go ahead. I hear you. Go ahead.
Hey, Chef. Good night. Good night. Good night.
Good evening.
Man, I'm disappointed in you, man.
Okay, what am I do now?
I heard the Gen 6 of the other party. It's a bit unscramble. Insult nationwide.
This again, Richard. I honestly, what do people want me to do? Go engage in a tit for tat, an unprofessional tit for tat with the General Secretary of the People's National Party on live television? What? How would that benefit Nationwide's image? How would it?
I I don't know which station is this. Is this nationwide or reason?
No, but I answered that question. I made it quite clear. This is still nationwide. This is still nationwide. I thought you were referring to the other things that he suggested at that point, but I'm not. It would be unprofessional, and I'm pretty sure Cliff would have boxed me over the back of my head if I engaged in an unprofessional tit-for-tat with the General Secretary of a major political party right there on live television for all and sundry to see.
Okay, all right. Let me ask the next question. Who is the leader of the PNP?
At this point in time, it still remains Mark Golding.
Okay. On election night, Mr. Golding came out and conceded the election. It's the first time I never see he just relieved. He was himself. 24 hours later, this man make a U-turn.
Well, to be clarified, it was not 24 hours later. It was like it was about a week or so later after his concession.
Well, do you know that I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday who is a PMP who's sure that the election was stolen?
I'm still here. I'm hearing that stirring within the people, within the supporters of the People's National Party, and I don't think that the leadership of the People's National Party is doing enough, if anything, to dismiss those concerns. I'm not going to go as far to suggest that they're inflaming it, but I don't believe they're doing enough to dismiss those concerns. And I still see many a Jamaican PNP supporter suggesting, oh, the election was stolen, this is a big steal, the Prime Minister never won his constituency, there's stuffed ballot boxes. I said, where are we going with this?
Good. I asked my friend yesterday, I said, bring the evidence. He told me that it was a plan between the EOJ and the police to steal the election for the jail.
I heard one person suggest to me that that Glasspool bonus was planted by the JLP, and I said that doesn't make any sense, because in order for him to have his position, he would have had to be signed off on by both the People's National Party members of the ECJ and the JLP members of the ECJ. That is how he became the CEO. He could not have just been there just so by the hand of the JLP alone.
Now ask yourself, why is a normal PMP on the street think that?
But as I said, I made it quite clear, I don't think the party is doing enough to dispel this belief that somehow the election was fraudulent or stolen. They're not doing enough to dispel that concern. In fact, by suggesting that you're going to challenge in court the Prime Minister's result in his constituency, you are adding to the fuel to the fire.
Okay. No, you have a man win by 2,000 votes, and you have seats that win. But yet still you said, if you come and challenge it, it will change the result of the election. Then why bring it to the media? Why make a press conference out of it?
As I said, I don't know what to make of what that press conference was about. I think it sets a bad precedent for the country.
It was about nothing. It was, I listened to it, it was about nothing. It was about...
And because we've every election cycle, when the counting starts in West Central St. Andrew, we come to the same conclusion. The Prime Minister is trailing a little bit, or the Prime Minister, oh no, it looked like he might lose. And then all of a sudden, when the boxes come from the strong JLP constituency, from the strong JLP division, he wins. Because we know how these things work. We know that you have some divisions that might be strong one way or strong another, or you're not sure what they might lean a certain way. And we know how it works, and we know how the result is most likely going to look come the end of election night. Why are we so shocked this time around?
Exactly. Look, let me show you something.
And I've heard that from sensible people in the People's National Party who have put that forward, saying, we know how the polling works in that division, and we know where the Prime Minister's votes are the strongest. Why are we discussing it in such a way?
Why they're not telling that to their supporters? Why they allowed them to feel that the election was stolen?
And where do we go from there? Are you suggesting then that you have no intention of sitting across from the Prime Minister in Gordon House come whenever the Parliament reconvenes? Are you suggesting that when it comes to legislation and other matters, you're going to act as if the government has no legitimacy? What are we attempting to do at this point in time?
Let me show you something, Chef. If my leader and my Prime Minister is looking for any support from this so-called opposition, he's not going to get it. They have one thing on their mind only, is to get rid of Andrew Holness. And they're not going to stop. They're not going to tire. They're not going to give up. They only want. Their plan is Andrew Holness is the GLP. If they get rid of Andrew, the GLP will crumble. That is the only plan. That is the only plan. They have no other plan. No plan B.
Well, unless something significantly untoward happens in the coming years, I think the People's National Party might need to come up with a different strategy if they intend to continue as an electoral force, because we're at a losing argument in terms of the Prime Minister's integrity or any other concerns about the Prime Minister. It's a losing argument. No, it is not a losing argument. It is an argument that has lost. It's that simple. It is an argument that has lost.
It's about their base. They don't care about Jamaica. It's about winding up that base. You don't get it.
But based on the result already, it is quite clear that this base that the People's National Party had at some point, it's not there anymore. They even lost in the popular vote. So they don't have that base anymore. They need to start targeting just run-of-the-mill, average voting on issues voters. It cannot be about neither political party at this point can rely on its base alone to win an election. Look, the closeness of the result and the closeness of many of the seats, which could have, let's say, you reached out to a handful more voters, could have changed hands. Look at Central Kingston.
Exactly.
You cannot rely on your base alone to bring it home anymore.
I give that seat to, what is his name again, man? That guy that turned. What is it? Roll. I give that seat to boy. I love Lawrence Roll, man. That guy. I listen to him, man.
I'm certain the turmoil caused by Rose. I want to say by the kicking him to the curb. I am sure that impacted the election result.
Don't worry, Mr. Roll, you are welcome to the GOP. We love you. You are welcome. And the next thing, one thing before I go, Chef. Miss Flint is the Minister of Sport, the new Minister of Sport.
Wait. So what are you going to do with Babsy? Are you going to take away sports from Babsy?
Entertainment.
Oh, okay.
She's good with entertainment, but we need a person here that is an athlete, that was an athlete, who know the plight of athlete, who feel the emotion, who's been there. And trust me, Juliet will make a fabulous minister of sport.
Isn't that rather cliche because she was in sports, she needs to be the Minister of Sport? I think she can have talents elsewhere.
No, listen, Michelle. Listen, Michelle. She will make an excellent minister. She's been there already. She has some experience. I just said, listen to me. I'm not saying it's the I'm talking about Brogan. Just one of them. That you know who is Brogan. You remember that he said it's about refreshing the party. When you elevating the. I wouldn't be surprised if I see you as a senator. Believe me, No.
I have no appetite for politics. I have a habit of being too honest. I have no appetite for politics. I would get myself into too much trouble.
That's why we need the black in the Senate. And I know you'll make a wonderful senator.
All right, Carlo. Thank you, Richard.
Yeah, man. I remember, the Minister of Sport, Ms. Flint, I know she'll do a wonderful job.
All right.
Have a wonderful night.
All right, have a good night. Anthony, good evening.
Stefan, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
How are you doing? Are you all one in the same solo?
Yes, it's just me one this evening.
Oh, you're a good soloist, man. one thing me glad for the PNP for, today. And I see the protest that they led in Mount Pella there concerning the road with the taxi man them. Have you seen it?
I believe seeing a video about it, but I wasn't quite certain what it was about.
I was watching it on TV not too long. You know? But now tell us I'm really happy. Siobhan, you can imagine. Me send my daughter from my daughter is 12-year-old, right? She goes to the Anchovy high school. But the school, 7th grade and 8th grade go all the way down to Mount Pella. Quite a distance from Anchovy. Right? And it's in our school. I think it was Friday. My wife called me and said, you know, sir, Deandra not reaching school until I'll know. When we look on the clock after 9 until leave the house from some minutes to 7 because she have to go downtown Night Park or catch the school bus. And after 9 she not reach her school because of the bad road that they have down there. The road them bad. When me say bad enough, man, it's bad enough. So the line of traffic, if you see traffic down there. Me glad for the protest, man, what they do to them, man. Me glad. Because the former MP, I can't remember my name, the brown man, now I'm brown man police to the Jamaica Labour Party. You know, company still.
You mean Homer Davis?
Homer Davis, right?
Yes.
He came on the platform, some shop, and talk about how he fix road at Anchovy, how he fix road in Mount Kerry and all of them places. Time my wife went there and I'm saying to my wife, boy, this man I tell lie or some man. You know?
Well, I don't know the state of the I don't know the state of the roads down in South. Is that South St. James? Yes, I mean that's South St. James. So I really can't speak to it, but I mean, again, if you look at the September 3 election result, it's clear that Mr. Davis had not satisfied the needs of the people there, and they asked for a change. It is clear.
Sister man, it hurt me. My wife called me and tell me that the girl not reach school yet. She called her and tell her that she's still in the bus. After 9, and she leave house from to 7. After this thing, when you can always have fun and radio in the morning. What you call it? What you call it? 6:30, what's on my mind?
Yes.
Yes, what's on my mind? And when that finished, my wife left out of the house with her because she always listened to that part of the program before she left her morning time. And all after 9, the little girl not reach her school, she still sit on the bus, can't move because of the whole patrol in the road. And let me tell you something still. You see the work what really costs them whole for patrol still? Them a run pipe. Me no never find down at Westmoreland way because me take the road. Me they come from Westmoreland and me see them a run the pipe from my pipe they run, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But guess what? They don't fill up back the hole them properly.
That's the
run.
Is the NWC they just throw some marl and stone into it and just leave it as it's
You see the road turn bad. When me say bad, you know, come straight to Anchovy, you know, from way down past Mount Pella go down the road and bad man. Maybe I could feel like me come a Davis News too. The road feel bad if they a fix them a run pipe man, return distance man, they don't fix the road back man. Fix back the road.
I hear you, Carlo. I hear you.
Section 2 side of the road, you know. 2 side of the road, the traffic there, you know, Virgin.
I hear you.
Actually, you don't know, man. I'm glad to there and then go protest. I thought to me about the PMP involved in a thing when I love. I tell you the honest truth. I mean, I have nothing to do with them.
All right, Carlo. Thank you. I'm getting the wrap-up signal. So earlier I said that I'm too honest. Let me clarify that. That you know, YouTuber pointed out that's not a fair statement. I'm not suggesting that all politicians are dishonest. Let me say, I am too forthright, and I sometimes lack the temperament I believe would be required from a politician in terms of dealing with people I do not necessarily think have the right. What's the word I'm looking for here? The right belief and understanding and the best means for the country as a whole. I would not be very well suited in a position of a politician. I would trace people off. So let me say it that way. It's not honesty in terms of just I might be too forthright to be a politician in this country. You have to smile and be kind to people who sometimes do not mean you well, and I would probably struggle with that. But I have to leave it there, listeners. It's 7:58. Thank you all on YouTube and in Radioland for joining us this evening. Thanks to our super producer Dana Davey, our technical operator Andrew the Glen Boogs Anderson, the news and production department, my friends and family here at Nationwide News, led by the very capable Ricardo Brooks and Cara Powell. I'm Siobhan Campbell. Thank you for joining us this evening.
Escape to Idlewild and a grill where sand and serenity meet. Visit Idlewild.